been real kind to Bill Elliott. Although he won this race in 1989, last year he was 25th. He's starting back in 18th position. Bill, how do you approach this thing?
Well, wait and see. I mean, we'll give it our best shot and hope a Budweiser Amoco Ford comes out on top.
Well, you've had some time to work on the car. Do you have it to your liking?
Well, it looks like it's going to be a little hotter today than it has been, so we'll probably do a lot of adjusting.
Well, we want to wish you luck. It's going to be interesting to watch. A Junior Johnson car has never won this race. Now let's go up to the front row with Randy Pemberton.
I'm standing by with Rusty Wallace. Of course, Rusty, on the pole here, your first one of the season. But I think even more importantly, Rusty, you were clocked as one of the quickest cars in Saturday's practice session. What about it here today?
Well, the car's in great shape. I mean, all I can say is that we've got a new engine combination. This is the car I won Richmond with. The last session on Saturday, the tire temps were great. The plug checks are great. We're all systems go right now. I don't know anything to make this car better. We're just going to have to read the racetrack and make adjustments from there on out.
Good luck, Rusty. On the outside of row one is a man that's been there many times before. In fact, 6 times this season, 10 times in his career. But this man is Sterling Marlin, and he's never won a Winston Cup race. Mike Joy, nobody wants to win one more than Sterling Marlin.
Thank you, Randy, and welcome to our TNN coverage team. Hello, everybody. It's a beautiful day for racing out here in the Pacific Southwest, and a capacity sellout crowd is expected to be on hand here at Phoenix, and why not? Last week, there were 6 drivers well up in contention for the Winston Cup. Today, that number has dwindled to 4. We could leave this racetrack either declaring a champion or perhaps knotting this tight point battle even tighter. And Phoenix International Raceway will present its own unique challenges to all these drivers. You'll see that the turns are banked differently at the east and west ends of this speedway. And that long looping dog-legged backstretch is 400 feet longer than the front straightaway. It's a track that presents a unique challenge at every turn to every driver. And who better to speak to that than my 2 broadcast partners, Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker. First, let's go down to Neil Bonnet.
Seems like every week we're talking about tires, the Winston Cup races. They can be the key on who wins these races. We see the new ones over here, but just take a look at the stack of used tires. These tires are from just one team who are getting ready for this race. Phoenix is the type of racetrack, if you're not ready when they drop the green flag, it's hard to dial the car in. Some tracks you can crank the car this way or that way and get it better as the day goes. Phoenix is not that way. You better be ready when the race starts or you're going to be out to lunch. And this points battle, nobody can stand that right now. Talking about points, you've already seen 4 guys got a chance to win a championship, but there's still some more in contention to win it. For more on that story, let's go to Buddy Baker.
Neil, there's a lot of attention on the first 4 cars running for the national championship. They're overlooking somebody that's very consistent and I think has a tremendous shot at maybe winning the championship. I'm with Andy Petrie here, crew chief for Harry Gant. How do you plan to attack this race today?
Well, we're just going to go all out. You know, we've been doing that pretty much all year, running every race to win. We're in a little bit of a slump right now. We're trying to dig our way out of. We're trying a little something new here, chassis-wise, and you know, we're not going to hold anything back. You know, we're going to run what we feel like the lowest gears we can run, and we're just going to race hard as we can to try to win these last 2 races. You know, like you say, we got a mathematical chance, so we're just going to give it everything we've got. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, we gave it all we could.
Thanks, Andy. And now back to Mike.
Well, Buddy, Harry Gant will have a long way to come from 30th starting spot. And don't forget Mark Martin, whose car sponsors this race as well, is still mathematically in the battle for the Winston Cup. TNN Motorsports exclusive live coverage of the Pyroil 500 is brought to you by Goodyear, #1 in tires. By Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. And by Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. Well, they're just about concluded with the pre-race activities here under the blazing Arizona sun. We're about to get to it here at Phoenix. Stay with us.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Last year, Davey Allison added something new to his car. It wasn't wider tires or a slicker shape. It was the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy, straight off the shelf, to add more life to your car with complete protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Now, we're not saying it was Haviland Formula 3 that gave Davey the energy to lead more major NASCAR races than anyone last year and win this year's Daytona 500. But we're not saying it wasn't.
Miller Genuine Draft. It's cold filtered. That's how we keep our commitment to everyone who knows that draft beer is real beer, pure beer, the best beer. It's why so many people can enjoy a beer whose taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, and why so many people are making a change of their own to the genuine draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
When 280 seemed out of reach, it's Joe Amato and Autolite who punch it. The wall goes to 290. Connie Coletta and Autolite smash it. 300, the barrier. Kenny Bernstein and Autolite shatter it. Autolite and the Record Breakers. Wow, I feel good. We feel pretty good about that.
Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. You're looking at the man who needs to gain some ground in the title chase today. Glenn Jarrett, his trackside with Davey Allison.
Well, if Phoenix has been unkind to Bill Elliott, exact opposite's true for Davey Allison. He won this race a year ago, and you got one of the fastest cars here this week.
Well, Glenn, we found some things yesterday in the late afternoon practice that really helped this race car out, and we were real happy with it. So we'll just have to see how things go today. It's a little bit hotter. Track conditions may change a little bit, and we may have to adjust it, but we've got one of the best crews at that there is in this business.
Well, best of luck to you today. Now let's go to the man in the third points position with Randy Pemberton.
Well, Alan Kulwicki is the pole leader this season, but poles don't pay points. Alan, you pay points by leading laps, the most laps, and leading a lap. What's your strategy today? Do you want to stay out front, lead the most laps you can?
Well, we definitely do. You know, we've got some ground to make up on Bill, and you know, we're in a position that's not going to pay to be conservative, so we're going to run as hard as we can, and you know, the Hooters 4 Thunderbird's running pretty good. It ran well in the last practice, so I'm optimistic about our chances.
Okay, Alan Kulwicki certainly has a shot at the win here today and a shot at the Winston Cup title. Glenn?
The man in the points chase everyone is watching is the man who posted the most recent win, as Mike Joy now reports in this week's Haviland Update.
A track record 62,000 fans at North Carolina Motor Speedway witnessed Richard Petty's final race in his home state. But Richard's son Kyle was king for this day. His mellow yellow Pontiac had a view from the front for all but 8 laps and was never passed for the lead on the speedway. TNN's new suspension cam showed the damage to the right front of Mark Martin's car after he brushed the wall on lap 435. Bill Elliott, defending his point lead, here trying to get past Ricky Rudd, turned in a solid effort to increase his advantage over Davey Allison, who would finish 10th. Though Elliott couldn't pass Ricky Rudd for third, and Ernie Irvin wound up second, it was Kyle Petty banking $153,000. 2/3 of that, the bonus for winning from the pole. Elliott leads Davey Allison by 70 points. Alan Kulwicki 85 back, Kyle Petty 94 out of first, and Harry Gant 113 points back. 2 races to go.
Well, if you folks were watching last week, and I know you were, you know that Kyle Petty led all but 8 laps of the race last week. Are you going to stink up our show like that again?
I hope so. Felix is down, and he finally got out of the hospital, and he's in Florida at the boat show watching it. So I hope it's just as bad this week as it was last week.
Okay, Mike, we'll keep our eye on Kyle Petty. He has been the hottest property in Winston Cup racing in the last few months.
Cast was dedicated to Richard Petty, and today, in addition to Kyle, there'll be this other Petty to deal with. It's Richard's next to last Winston Cup start, his final one on the West Coast, and they have a little special bit of pre-race involving the king of stock car racing. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton.
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce track announcer Ted Brown. Ted?
Thank you very much. We'd like to turn the microphone over now to the Vice President of A&I Distributors in Billings, Montana, Mr. Gerald Stevenson, for today's Pyroil 500 starting command.
Thank you, Ted. And on behalf of Pyroil and Valvoline, We'd like to welcome everyone here today, and we're looking forward to a fantastic race. And with us today to give the command is we have Richard Petty, the King. Richard, give us the command.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Packed house here in Phoenix. Aerial fireworks go off and 42 Winston Cup cars come to life. Rusty Wallace, first pole of the season, beat the track record. Sterling Marlin, 10th front row start of his career. Alan Kulwicki won the first race here at Phoenix. He's third. Ricky Rudd. Ernie Irvin, three-time winner this season. Jimmy Spencer and Bobby Allison's Ford in the third row. Kyle Petty, last week's winner, and Mark Martin had a third here 3 years ago. In the fifth row, Ken Schrader, yesterday's winner on the Southwest Tour. He beat Darrell Waltrip. Sixth row, Mike Waltrip's best starting spot since July, and Davey Allison, defending champion of this race. In row 7, Derek Cope, former Daytona winner. Rick Mast, we had a top 10 here 2 years ago. Brett Bodine in a Ford and Ted Musgrave, former winner of the Copper Classic here. Dale Jarrett with the Phoenix Cardinals helmet on today, and Bill Elliott, the point leader. Dale Earnhardt, who won this race 2 years ago, and Jeff Bodine, two-time Phoenix pole sitter. Then Bobby Hamilton, 21st, who made his Winston Cup debut here, and Morgan Shepherd with a third-place finish in Phoenix. Jimmy Hensley, Rookie of the Year, and 35-year veteran Richard Petty. Hut Strickland will substitute for Greg Sachs in the Kellogg's car. Terry Labonte, twice a runner-up here. Wally Dallenbach makes his first start at Phoenix, and Rick Corelli off of the Winston West circuit. Dick Trickle, twice a winner here in Southwest Tour races, and Harry Gant. Lake Speed, his first stock car start ever came here in 1979. Jeff Purvis is there in that 16th row. John Krebs from Winston West, and Scott Gaylord, West Coast driver in Jimmy Means' car. Bill Schmidt goes for his 5th Winston West title today. Dave Marcus in row 18. Then Bill Sedgwick, only 4 points behind Schmidt, and Stanley Smith. Row 20, 33-year-old newcomer Jeff Davis and Butch Gilliland from Anaheim, California. Ron Hornaday Jr. won the Winston Southwest title. Yesterday, Rick Scribner will start in the 42nd scratch position. Couldn't be a prettier day here at Phoenix. About a half hour ago, it was only 68 degrees, up to 73, and the temperature rising. Just a light little breeze, sunny and mild. Perfect race weather. In-car cameras today. You'll be riding with Rusty Wallace in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac from the pole. Rusty will have a 360-degree race cam shown here. And he'll also be showing us other views as well. That's, of course, off the back of Richard Petty's car as he looks back at the field from the roof cam atop Richard's car, facing backwards this week. Mark Martin in the Valvoline Ford Thunderbird will also be carrying one of our TNN in-car cameras. There's a look out the front of Mark Martin's car. 360-degree race cam. And there's the roof cam. And suspension cam is back. Let's hope he gets a better ride out of it than he did last Sunday when we showed you those dramatic pictures from Rockingham. Davey Allison, number 2 in the point parade, will also have 2 onboard TNN cameras. You'll have this forward view from the main roll cage hoop of Davey's car, and this view counter to it right out the back window. And the King, Richard Petty. You see the roof cam on the back of the roof of the car this time. On the SDP Pontiac, we'll have this view of the rest of the field unencumbered by roll bar or window glass. And also the 360-degree race cam, and you'll see mounted up there on the dash, the face cam for Richard's last West Coast ride. Ron Hornaday Jr. yesterday won the Winston Southwest Tour title. Negative x-rays of his crash. He's been cleared to drive today by track physician Dr. Heller. Let's have a look at what happened to Hornaday yesterday. An exhaust pipe loose on the track. He's at the top of your screen. Watch this pipe fly up and rip through the windshield and roof of his car. Also injured his right forearm. X-rays were negative. He was chasing Rick Corelli for that point championship. 1 lap to go. Corelli running in the top 5 spins. Gets T-boned once by Brian Germoni and then a second time. Corelli will also be in this race today. Hornaday got back on the racetrack and on the last lap under the red flag, caution flag situation, pushed his car across the finish line to notch the Southwest Tour title. He's in the race today. Rick Corelli will drive this car. He has 2 broken ribs, will be taped up, will start this race and drive as long as he feels he is able, then take the car to the garage. The reason he's starting the race today is to allow him to lock up the Winston West Rookie of the Year title. That was a wild one yesterday. You'll see that over the winter. Tape delay coverage here on TNN. Nearly $700,000 at stake here as we get ready for a start. 42 cars to go the 500-kilometer distance. Getting ready for green. And Greg Bringle waves the green flag to get them started. Elliott, Allison, Kulwicki, Petty, Gant, Martin for the Winston Cup. 2 rounds to go. See how it sorts out. Rusty Wallace will lead this first lap. It's the first time he has led the opening lap of a race since Bristol in August 1991. Look at that pile behind him.
Mike Rusty really sounded confident before the race started. Said he really had his car dialed in practice. It sure looks like it right now.
Sterling Marlin holds the 2nd spot. And Junior Johnson Percolator. Ricky Rudd, Alan Kulwicki lined up right behind. Rudd's on a tear. Had a great run last week at Rockingham and starting right up front today. That tide ride.
Kulwicki's got a lot on the line to get up there and try to lead this race early and get those bonus points.
We talked to Andy Petrie, top of the show. Harry Gant is unable to gain ground from that 30th starting position as they come past. Tracking the Rookie of the Year, Jimmy Hensley. There's Kyle Petty making the move to the inside, moving up a spot. He's got Mark Martin right behind him. Coming around a complete lap 3. And we'll be back with more of the Pyroil 500 from Phoenix. Right after we pause for these messages.
What makes a winner?
It's the shoes.
Fast lane shoes. More and more top teams are wearing it, and so can you. Call 1-800-GET-FAST and see if your favorite driver's in the fast lane. Fast lane shoes look just like their cars.
Very awesome.
And performance to burn. It's the shoes. For immediate delivery, call 1-800-GET-FAST. Satisfaction guaranteed.
When Darrell Waltrip needs a part, he needs the right part, and he needs it fast.
And when you need parts, see the parts team at Western Auto. We've got top name brands and thousands of parts in stock. Right, guys?
Right, DW.
And we've got the right price, backed by our low price guarantee, right?
Right, DW. And while you're at Western Auto, pick up Valvoline motor oil at a low Western Auto price. People who know, use Valvoline.
Western Auto, the official auto parts and service store of NASCAR. Right, guys?
Right, DW.
Quote, Dodge Dakota Sport with a new optional 180 horsepower Magnum V6 out-accelerates Ford Ranger and Chevy S10 and does it for under 10 grand. Unquote. Dodge, the most powerful line of trucks anywhere. Get $500 cash back on Dakota during the Dodge Dare to Compare Challenge.
Everyone has a reason for reading National Speed Sport News.
He keeps me in touch with worldwide racing news.
I always find out what's happening at CART.
This is where I catch up on my drag racing news.
I read Speed Sport News to get the facts.
I catch up on all the racing gossip in Speed Sport News.
For whatever your reason, National Speed Sport News provides the fastest, most reliable, and objective source of racing news available. Call today, and your first issue will be mailed within 2 weeks.
7 laps in, we're under green, and you're watching out the back window of Rusty Wallace's car and the view he has of the entire field. He's led from the pole all 7 laps. Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Alan Kulwicki. Let's go back a few spots. Kyle Petty and Mark Martin turned in identical qualifying times. The old rule was the driver that turned the time first got the higher spot. The new rule is that the driver highest in the point standings breaks the tie and gets the further ahead qualifying spot. Kyle started 7th. Mark started in the 8th spot. And they continue to run nose to tail.
Somehow, on the start, Mark got in front of Kyle, and Kyle was able to get back around him. It seemed like he was able to hold him off.
Where are our point leaders? Well, they're battling nose to tail. They did not start the race that way. Davey Allison and Bill Elliott. Allison started 12th. He is faded to now 21st position. And right behind, look at Richard Petty. Petty's moved up 4 spots since the start of this race, including a move underneath Dale Earnhardt 2 laps ago.
Well, I tell you what, Richard have a good run here today. It certainly set this crowd on fire. They've been after him all week. Every night they've got a function for him. And the King, if he could pull one off today, it'd be a miracle.
And I think this might be the kind of race that favors Richard as you ride along with him. This race is only 312 miles, 500 kilometers.
Mike, not only that, Richard ran 4 years here before they ever got a Winston Cup race here. He's run more laps on this track in a stock car than any of the people here.
He's pulling up on Davey Allison, whose car clearly is not running as well as Davey would like. Back in that 20th spot, 19th position rather. After 10 laps of competition, Rusty Wallace leads it. Sterling Marlin, Alan Kulwicki, Ricky Rudd, and Ernie Irvin are the front 5. There you see point leader Bill Elliott right in the midst of that pack. And Elliott's moving toward the front. He does not up there. He is just to the left of the windshield of Davey Allison's car and does not appear to be running all that conservative.
He's not, but if you notice, Davey's sticking right with him. I think his plan is to run whatever Bill runs and just keep him in sight. Maybe, you know, if he has a problem, he can move in and take advantage of it.
If Davey were to win both the last 2 races, Elliott must finish 5th or better in both to clinch the title. Let's go down to pit road, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, I monitored that situation with Davey Allison. I asked Larry McReynolds, the crew chief, if there was anything wrong with the car. He said thus far, the only thing Davey had said was, gosh, they're driving like a bunch of maniacs out there. So I have an idea he just dropped back to kind of let things settle down for a while.
Front straightaway, Ernie Irvin and Jimmy Spencer in the Allison car, number 12, just about got together. And watch number 10, Derek Cope. He started 13th. He's moved up to 8th, and he's coming fast. Cope will not drive that car next year. His plan's a little up in the air, but he's coming hard. From Mark Martin's car, you're looking ahead at that battle. Mike Walton right in there as well in the Pennzoil car.
Like Spencer cleared the 4 car, got around him.
I'll tell you one thing. Look at Mark Martin's car go down in the corner. He is much faster than the cars he's running down.
There's Martin underneath Mike Waltrip as they come off turn number 2. At the head of that pack, Jimmy Spencer, then Ernie Irvin, Derek Cope, Mike Waltrip, Mark Martin.
Good, Mike. Here we are showing the telemetry inside the car. Let's watch what kind of RPM we see here. They're coming up the front straightaway now. This is the shortest straightaway on the racetrack. Seeing 8,500 RPM. If it turns 85 here, what in the world is going to turn down that back straightaway with 500 more foot of racetrack? You usually see the highest RPM down this back straightaway. If they don't hold him up, the motor should turn a lot of RPM. 84, 87 RPM for just a second. Mark probably promised not to hold it wide open.
Yeah, he told Jack he wouldn't run it a tick over 8,500, right? Davey Allison comes underneath Bill Elliott, battling back. Jeff Bodine just ahead, Dale Jarrett, Rick Mans in the 1 car. No, this does not look conservative here. I love it.
You know, Davey said everybody's driving like a wild man. Well, that's Winston Cup racing. They're all driving like wild men. It's down to 2 races to go. Everybody's wanting to win races.
And here comes Richard underneath Jeff Bodine. You're riding with the king.
Looks like they shuffled Dale Jarrett to the outside. The entire group got by him.
Back single file. Earnhardt all over Richard. Then Bobby Hamilton, Wally Dallenbach.
You can see out the front of Richard's windshield a while ago, Davey Allison cleared that route and got him 2 or 3 positions on that.
Dale Jarrett dropping back. He's falling to the inside of the racetrack there.
I'll tell tell you what, Earnhardt was one of the fastest cars in practice, and Richard seems to be able to handle him pretty well right now.
Bobby Hamilton just behind Earnhardt. He's in a Ford today. Country time car.
There he comes down the inside of Earnhardt down in turn 1. Earnhardt's trying the outside of Richard. Hard to make it on that outside here.
Dale Jarrett comes to pit road as we continue under green at lap 18. Jarrett will get right side tires. Richard Petty battling Dale Earnhardt. Back at 20th position.
We saw Dale Jarrett go to the outside. Looks like he might have had a tire problem. That group of cars passed him. He came into pits.
Gillette Halfway Challenge is part of today's race. Any guess who will lead the halfway lap? But if you stay tuned and you have sent in a postcard entry, Gillette may call you. If you know who wins the halfway lap and the $10,000 that goes with it, you may win a Chevy Lumina. You can enter next week's challenge by riding to Gillette, Box 2246, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33731. You must be 18 or over. Send in your name and telephone number. And for the Atlanta race, you could be entered for that contest.
That's looking over the shoulder of the King right there. Richard's working the wheel. Earnhardt slipped up under him. Richard's not going to be content with that. He's wanting that position back.
Were you surprised how many loyal subjects the King has out here in the West Coast? They were stretched a couple of blocks to get autographs this weekend.
Yeah, I got shot in the foot this morning. I was out in the parking lot, and everybody said, "There's Buddy Baker, there's Buddy Baker." And a little kid come up and looked in the window and said, "Where's Petty?"
Dale Jarrett back in. He'll get left sides this time. Randy Penrose.
Well, I just got the word from the crew that he just said that he had a tire going down, said Dale Jarrett. They came back in, changed 2 more on the left side. Evidently, they missed the first 2. It was on the left side of the automobile. So Dale Jarrett back out. All he said was he had a tire going down.
10-second pit stop the first time, 11.5. Second time for Dale Jarrett. Rusty Wallace leads this race. Sterling Marlin, Alan Kulwicki, Ricky Rudd, and Jimmy Spencer has climbed to the 5th spot now. 22 laps complete. There's a look at your top 5. First 3 just the way they've run since the drop of the flag. The rest of the top 10, Ernie Irvin, Derek Cope is right up there. Mike Waltrip, Martin, and Schrader. Looking ahead to 1993, we asked Kirk Shelmerdine and Dale Earnhardt about next year.
Next year we have some different ideas. I think this year was kind of we had a lot of problems and we fell out of some races, and it actually enabled us to do some development work in the races that we wouldn't normally try things we wouldn't normally try if we were running for the championship. I think we're going to take a little bit different direction in certain areas next year, and we'll see how it goes. You know, the competition gets tighter every week, and we don't have the edge we used to have. We're going to see what we can do about getting that back.
You know, it's had a bad year. All you can do is chalk it up, go into next year and look for 93. The team's positive, and we know we're winners. We've won, we've lost, so maybe it'll be our year next year.
We've had Old Blaze for 16 years. I mean, this Old Blaze. My husband uses it for all of his hunting and fishing trips. He and the dog absolutely love that car. Someday, when even AC Delco Parts can't keep it going, we'll just park it out back so he and the dog can sit in it and reminisce.
AC Delco Parts. It's like buying time.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town.
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car is back in town. So you better hold on.
Spread the word around. Guess who's back in town?
The road is the ultimate test. It demands the will, the determination, the energy to go further. At Texaco, you'll find that energy in System 3 gasolines for improved performance in all octane grades. It's not just in our products. It's also in our services. Everywhere you go. At Texaco, we meet the challenge of the road and then go even further.
Coming up at 8:30 p.m. on race day, we'll be live from Phoenix, Arizona, and we'll have as our special guest the newly crowned Winston West champion. Dick Beatty, the retiring director of the Winston Cup Series, will also join us, and we'll have highlights from today's Pyroil 500. So be watching.
Race Day, second edition, 8:30 p.m. Eastern today on TNN Motorsports.
You're watching Rusty Wallace hard at work. A little boot cam action there. Feeds the throttle back in. Down the straightaway.
Rusty uses left foot braking. Watch when he gets down the corner, he pick his left foot up, right on the brake, off the throttle. Just kind of feed the brake, let the car roll through. Feed the throttle a couple of times. With this racetrack, you can't just jump flat on it off. He's having to feed it up off the corner. He's doing a good job with it.
Look how good that car is handling. That steering shaft was hardly moving.
Rusty Wallace in the Miller Genuine Drive Pontiac has led all 30 laps. There's Sterling Marlin just behind. Alan Kulwicki runs third. In a position here to pick up some big points.
Alan's got to be wondering, hey, I'm this close, boy, if I could just move on up here and lead this thing for a lap. But that's not going to be easy where the leader's running.
You see Kyle Petty at the front of this pack. Now Davey Allison has moved off past Kyle while we were under commercial and left him. So Davey's car is much better than when it started this race.
I think Davey's spotter said, look, you're getting behind pretty bad right now. You need to pick up the pace, and he's passing cars left and right now.
You saw Allison there bottom of the screen as we watch Petty, Brent Bodine, big brother Jeff, and Bill Elliott almost get into the back of the Bud Moore car there.
Looks like they had a little bit of contact coming up off turn 2 over there. I'm sure if Bill got on him, he got off in a hurry. He can't afford to be in an accident.
You know, Mike, one thing about this racetrack, you get in the corner, it's pretty flat. If a guy comes across, you'll tag him in spite of everything, because both of you are going in so hard. But you see that all the time where the second car hooks the first car.
Ernie Irvin up on the outside. Coming up and off the corner. That's for 7th place. Mark Martin and Ernie Irvin fight off turn number 4. Watching from Mark Martin's car. Pyroil, the sponsor of this race, makes automotive chemicals, brake clean and the like. That's part of Ashland Oil, which is Valvoline. It's one of their brand names. If you're not familiar with that Pyroil name, that's why you see their decal inside Mark Martin's car. He and Irvin keeping close tabs on one another there. 7th place at 34 laps. 6th is Derek Cope. 5th is Jimmy Spencer. 4th, Ricky Rudd. 3rd is Kulwicki. 2nd, Marlin. And the leader, Rusty Wallace.
Mike, here's a good indication. Last week at Rockingham, this is the first time we had this shot. We saw the suspension really jumping up, down, traveling a lot. This track is a lot smoother, not near as rough as Rockingham, but it's got weaker springs in it, so you still get a lot of rate travel. But
I was just fixing to say, you have the same amount of travel you had last week with the high banks and everything, because you do spring them a lot softer for a flat track.
One of the biggest things I've seen, he sold 2 more ads on his A-frame. He's got a couple more sponsors down there up under the car.
Good year, and I see Butch Stevens been up and under there, too. Oh, boy. We have a report that Ted Musgrave had a brush with the turn 2 wall on the opening lap, but he's climbed back up into 9th position and running well. There's your point leader, Bill Elliott, in the Budweiser car, splitting the Bodine brothers, Jeff and Brett. 36 laps complete here at Phoenix International. There's your race leader, Rusty Wallace. Front 5 are pretty much unchanged. Derek Cope, a strong 6th. There's the rest of your top 10.
Hey, I'm Harold.
I'm Jimmy.
Phil.
And
Don. The Statler Brothers.
And we're coming to your house with a brand new season, Saturday night, November 21st at 9 Eastern.
Statler Brothers season premiere, Saturday, November 21st on TNN.
From February to November, you follow the action. Every twist to every turn, from daybreak to heartbreak, till it all comes to an end. But it doesn't have to end. Hi, I'm Ned Jarrett, here to tell you about the official 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup book.
Tell me it includes every race this season.
Bonded leather and packed with page after page of the best color action photography from every 1992 Winston Cup race.
Tell me it has a special section on Richard Petty.
This book is truly a collector's edition, not sold in any stores. Once these are sold out, there will be no more.
Tell them they will be shipped in December, just in time for Christmas.
You'll sure beat that tie.
Hey, Ned, some fan gave me this tie.
Unlike Benny's tie, your satisfaction is guaranteed with the Winston Cup book, or your money will be cheerfully refunded.
But you must order today. The 1992 edition is sure to sell out. It has every year.
And here's how to order.
Call 1-800-922-9287 or send $39.95 to NASCAR Winston Cup 92, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28230. That's 1-800-922-WCUP.
Welcome back to Phoenix. 39 laps complete. Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker. Glenn Jarrett and Randy Pemberton are on pit road today. You're watching Kenny Schrader, who runs in the 10th position, just behind Ted Musgrave and just ahead of Darrell Waltrip. That's how they finished yesterday's race, 1-2, Schrader and Waltrip. At the back of that pack, Davey Allison.
Ooh, did you see the back end on Michael Waltrip's car then? I mean, he is loose getting in the corner. He's doing a pretty good job just to hold that car on the racetrack.
And here's Elliott coming hard.
Look right there at the right front fender. When he was racing with Bodine a while ago, it looked like he tagged that right front a little bit and got the hood bucked up on the car a little bit. He can't afford much of that. If you mess up it a little bit here, it'll really slow the car down.
Let's check with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I'm down in Bill Elliott's pit. Tim, he seems to be sliding backwards a little. Has he said anything about how the car is?
No, he didn't say anything about the car, Glenn. It's just one of those deals right now. Hot racetrack, hot tires. A guy in front of you holding you up just a little bit. You just can't do anything about it.
Elliott has cleared Kyle Petty, and that will move him up into the 15th position.
A good bit of damage to that car. A little bit of tap rolled that right front headlight back and it bucked the hood up. That's not so bad, but the air going in the carburetor disturbs a lot of things when you've been in front of those cars there.
How about cooling, Neil?
I don't think he damaged that part real bad, Mike. It looked like the right front headlight area. Looked like they did a lot of damage that day, buddy.
8th place here. Ernie Irvin and Ted Musgrave coming forward.
I tell you, that guy right there is going to be, I think he's one of the best upcoming stars that they have on the circuit right now, Neil. I just can't wait to see his team get stronger because he's there now, I think.
Yeah, Musgrave's made a lot of gains. You know, he was offered the Richard Petty ride. He turned it down to stick with his team here. He felt like they had a lot of potential, and maybe they can grow together and really get where they can win races.
Those are pretty good race cars he's racing with right there. Ernie Irvin's a contender in any race, and he's giving him all he can stand.
That's 8th and 9th. Let's go up to 3rd place. Alan Kulwicki has been caught by Ricky Rudd. But still running right where they started. 2nd, 3rd, 4th there. Marlin, Kulwicki, and Rudd. Here's Randy.
I'm down here with Gary Dehart. Gary, the track seems to be coming to you. You look like you're challenging for 3rd now. What about it?
Yeah, right now we're looking pretty good. The tire thing is working real good, our tire air and all. We geared up for the long run to see what was going to happen since it's been green's been a thing in the past. You know, we hadn't had that many cautions the last few races we run, so we geared up to run the long green thing.
Concerned about tire wear?
A little bit, so we look at the first set of tires. We're okay.
Ricky Rudd moving right up to Alan Kulwicki's back bumper, coming off that fine 3rd place run last week.
You know, the one thing that we all know is Ricky Rudd's probably as fine a greasy racetrack driver as there is out there. And you watch him, he'll move around on the racetrack and get the maximum out of that car. That may go back to the days when he was a motorcycle racer when he was younger.
He's having a good run here today as he did at Rockingham. Back at 8th place. Irvin and Musgrave's going to get inside him this time in this Ford versus Chevy battle. If the race ended right now, Bill Elliott would lead Davey Allison by 55 points. And Musgrave's going to complete the pass for 8th as Irvin sweeps a little high off the corner. And comes right back to him.
He was on that blind spot. Musgrave just happened to see him. That could have been bad right there because he started moving over.
Davey Allison and Kenny Schrader right behind them. Let's give you a Napa Field standing update brought to you by Napa because there are no unimportant parts. Here's where your favorite drivers stand at 35 laps. have some talk later in today's telecast about who goes where next year. No major announcements this week, but a few surprises, and the rumor mill is running, I think, past the red line in some cases. We'll try to fill you in a little better as the day goes on. Davey Allison has moved right up on Irvin now. And there's Schrader in the picture and Darrell Walter. Let me tell you how tough a racetrack Phoenix is to decide a point championship. Yesterday, in the NASCAR Southwest Tour event, the point lead among 3 drivers changed at least 6 times and wasn't decided until the final lap.
Mike, and they saw some of the footage of the last lap at the top of the show, and I'm telling you, it was a knockdown, drag-out affair, and the guy ended up pushing his car across the start-finish line and won the championship.
It's more like a knockout, drag him into the truck.
Right.
On their floor pan affair. Battle here with Bobby Hamilton moving up on Richard Petty. Harry Gant there. This action back at 22nd position. Wally Dallenbach has just gone past these cars as of a couple of laps ago. Harry up on that high line. There's Kyle Petty battling Brett Bodine, Earnhardt, and Wally Dallenbach is moving up.
You know, this is the type of racetrack if Wally Dallenbach's going to have a great run on him. He's a tremendous road racer. These flat corners are right down his alley. He's giving them all they can stand right now.
Dallenbach, there he is, right side of your screen. He was underneath Dale Earnhardt that time as Brett Bodine goes for Kyle Petty. And that's allowed Gant, Richard Petty, and Bobby Hamilton to catch this pack. They are 6 seconds from going a lap down to Rusty Wallace. But battling hard.
You know, Kyle must be having some kind of chassis problem because he's drifting back in the field. He's starting right up front. They're going by him on the inside. He really must be pushing or something.
Watching from Richard Petty's car. This has not been one of Kyle's better tracks. His best finish here, 20th last year. There, Dallenbach going to try the high side on Earnhardt. But Kyle Petty is right there.
You know, Mike, if it looks to the fans like that track's 100 foot wide there, it is.
There's no more.
Coming off turn 2, they get pretty brave. They put them 3 and 4 abreast out there. We've seen a lot of that this weekend.
Earnhardt and Dallenbach traded a little paint that time. You may see some sparks fly as you watch from Richard's car there.
Well, I got to tell you, if he passes Earnhardt on the outside, the middle of the corner, he'll get the Attaboy Award for the day. And he did. He's moving up.
Wally Dallenbach Jr. in the Keystone car of Jack Rouse. Trying to work his way to the front. Now underneath Kyle Petty.
I think Dallenbach saw the way to do it was the inside. He got down the inside. He's going on by Kyle now.
18th position is that battle. Let's have a look at your top 10. Still Rusty Wallace at the head of the field. Sterling Marlin, Ricky Rudd, Alan Kulwicki, and Jimmy Spencer. No change in the front 5. Derek Cope still a strong 6. Mark Martin, Ted Musgrave. Davey Allison moved up to a 9th after a slow start. Ernie Irvin is 10th. We asked Ernie Irvin about his outlook for the 1993 season.
Well, you know, it looks good as far as the way the car is running, and it's just a matter of being able to finish races, which we haven't been able to do as good as we need to this year. But as far as speed-wise and the competitiveness of our race team and developing the motors, I think we're in good shape to give everybody a run for us.
This is the $825 billion question. That's how much foreign corporations operating in the U.S. took in one year. But 72% of them didn't pay one dime in taxes, not one dime. And George Bush supports tax loopholes for foreign companies operating here. Supports them so much that he attacked Bill Clinton for wanting to close them. Bill Clinton wants to collect what foreign corporations owe and put the money to work to rebuild America. Clinton Gore, for people, for a change.
A reminder from Walmart. No matter who you are, no matter what you drive, there's one sure way to get more out of it. Regular oil changes with quality Haviland motor oil. When you add Haviland, you add more life to your car. And with Walmart savings every day of the year, you're not only miles ahead, you're dollars ahead too. Saving money at Walmart. It's an idea that's really catching on. Walmart. Always the low price. Always.
Performance and safety are important to me, whether I'm driving my race car or the family van. Seatbelts, guys. That's why I choose Trico windshield wiper blades. Trico wiper blades are built for performance and aerodynamically designed to improve my driving vision when and where I need it. Safe drivers win. Winning drivers choose Trico. There's no clearer choice.
With each new day, you find a way to be your best.
Gillette Sensor for the closest, safest shave ever.
You know you gotta be a little better than the rest.
Only Gillette Sensor has spring-mounted twin blades that sense and adjust to every detail of every face. Gillette Sensor, when you're the best, there's no feeling like it.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
At Phoenix, Arizona, under a blazing sun. We're under the first caution of the day. And all the cars on the lead lap have taken the occasion to pit. They've now come back out in much the same order as when they went out. Look at this piece of debris up by the wall in turn number 3.
Wow, that's almost a whole tire there. Somebody really had a problem.
It's a complete circle of the tire. Looks like the entire outer section came off the carcass.
Pits are now filled with cars 1 or more laps down, making their stops on the second lap when the pit lane is open.
A lot of people got a break there. Kyle Petty and a bunch of them were about to go a lap down. I mean, Rusty is hooked up and flying today.
Jimmy Hensley coming out, Dick Trickle, Dale Jarrett, who had an unscheduled pit stop, and here on pit road, John Krebs, the West Coast driver. The Raymock boys, Butch Mock and Bob Rahilly involved with Krebs' car. Told this weekend he'd like to make the move up to Winston Cup. Circumstances permit. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I've gotten Buddy Parrott to come down off of the toolbox there from his vantage point. Buddy, you guys are really hooked up. That car looks great.
Well, I tell you what, this Penske racing team, I tell you what, they just did a great job on the pit stop. You know, they've done a great job all week long preparing this Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. And I'll just tell you, I told you in Rockingham, you know, we've got to put this thing off till Phoenix, and hopefully we can do it.
Well, Rusty's got to be pleased. Is he saying anything?
Well, the car was a little pushy there at the start, but it's kind of come in, you know, on the tires and getting the fuel burn off. So looks like we're going to be okay.
Okay, let's go back to Mike.
1 lap will go racing. Election day is Tuesday. We want to make sure you vote, so we'll give you a little encouragement in the next 45 minutes of our telecast. We didn't have a great voter turnout last week among 6 drivers. Maybe now that there are 4 mainly in the running, vote for the driver who you think should be Winston Cup champion. That's the point tally so far. You saw our 800 number up on the screen. There it is, 451-7331 to dial in and tell us who should be Winston Cup champion. Call in your vote, and remember to vote on Election Day. This Tuesday, November 3rd, your vote counts. We'll give you the update a little later on in our telecast and then take your questions later on. Right now, just call in to vote for which of those 4 drivers should be the Winston Cup champ. Once again, 1-800, it's a free call, 1-800-451-7331. Restart at lap 59. Front 3, front 4 just the way they came out, front 5, 6, front 6 just the way they came out. Davey Allison gained 2 positions on the pit stop. He went in 9th and came out 7th.
I got to talk about one of my old drivers, too. Jimmy Spencer is really driving well in Ray Buster's car. He's up to a solid 5th right now, and he's making a move. You see him in the 3rd car back there. That car is really hooked up. He's giving Ricky Rudd all it can stand.
Now, look, there's 2 drivers whose future is a little in doubt. Spencer in number 12, who will probably drive for Bobby Allison next year, but nothing's definite. And right behind him, Derek Cope has given that Whitcomb car the best ride it's had in a season, and he's not going to drive that next year. His situation is up in the air for next season. Go figure.
Well, I can tell you, when you know you've been booted, the best thing you can do is have a solid run. That's what he's after right now.
Heavy traffic toward the back of the field. Mark Martin, Wally Dollback just ahead of that pack. If the race ended right at this minute, Bill Elliott could carry only a 33-point lead to Atlanta in 2 weeks.
You know, as fast as the 2-car was with Rusty Wallace in it, they said it was pushing. You imagine if they get it just right?
Well, somebody be stinking up our show, but it wouldn't be Val Petty this week.
Sometimes in a place like this, a little bit of push at the first of a race with a hot, slicky racetrack really comes to you. We heard Buddy Parent say it was getting better. If it's loose when it's hot, you don't get it. When it's pushy, it'll try to come to you a little bit. So he's not in that bad a shape where they would have worked on it.
There's Bill Elliott running on the outside of Rick Mast in that pack of traffic. There is Jimmy Spencer getting underneath Ricky Rudd, and here comes Derek Cope.
Yes, sir.
Spencer passed him for 4th place. Cope's trying to get around Rudd for 5th now.
You know, I love it out here. They can race all the way around the racetrack, and they're not a bad groove. You can go high or low and get around the car. I love it here.
Ricky Rudd can't get that car down to the bottom, and Derek Cope has a fender under him. Davey Allison right behind. You're watching that battle from Davey's car.
Neil, quit doing your foot up and down. Neil's driving this car for Davey.
We need a foot cam in the booth for Neil.
Yeah, but if I were to mash gas, I could mash it the wrong way now. Boy, look here. Looks like Sterling Marlin's really picked up the pace a little bit. He's all over Rusty now.
Well, one of these drivers somewhere in this field, not necessarily these two, is going to win $10,000 from Gillette. And if you have called, or if you have written in, and they pick your card and call you after halfway, you might win a Chevy Lumina. You may mail in for the contest in Atlanta. Name and phone number to Gillette, box 2246, St. Petersburg, 33731, so that they might call you and you can win that new car. 65 laps complete from Rusty Wallace's car.
Yeah, that's out of the back of Rusty's. All you see is the roof of that 22 car, but he's coming.
You know, I believe when Sterling finally wins the race, he'll win a bunch of them because he is so competitive. It's almost, you can't believe he hadn't won yet.
Sterling Marlin has had 8 career second-place finishes. Bill Elliott had 8 career second-place finishes before he won his first Winston Cup race.
And you remember the string that Harry Gant had, and then he started winning it, but he just took over.
Rusty Wallace has the lead, but it is a tenuous one. Now Kulwicki has caught the lead pair. 66 laps.
There you go, says Rusty on the inside. Almost makes you wonder, did they make a chassis change on the 2-car a while ago? Said it was tight, and now he's falling back some.
New leader. First lead change of the day. Sterling Marlin goes to the front, and now Wallace has to fight off his old ASA battlemate, Alan Kulwicki. 67 laps. There goes Kulwicki for second, putting Rusty back to third. Stay with us.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no air. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky. Wow! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
He's a lot tougher than he looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
One of these engines was filled with Castrol Syntec, a new synthetic oil. The rest with conventional oils. They were then drained and started without oil to prove a point. You see, Syntec's unique molecular structure bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't.
It's great. They fixed up that old truck and went out for the big driving lesson. You know, they'll never forget this day as long as they live.
Here's to fathers and sons, first-time driving lessons and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
The road is the ultimate test. It demands the will, the determination, the energy to go further. At Texaco, you'll find that energy in System 3 gasolines for improved performance in all octane grades. It's not just in our products. It's also in our services. Everywhere you go. At Texaco, we meet the challenge of the road and then go even further.
Folks in these parts think Tom Lawton is the best thing to ever turn a wrench. But back east, they'll put their money down on the guys at McClellan's. It seems in every town there's always one place that does a little bit better job fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts. Look for the sign of quality car repair. Napa.
Is being brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. We're under the second caution of the day. Dick Trickle appeared to break an oil line or an engine going down to turn 1 in the Stavola Brothers Snickers car and pasted the wall up in turn number 1. Then there was an ensuing calamity on the caution and a bit of crisscross at the entrance to pit road. We'll take you through all that as it's the second caution flag of the day. Let's have a look.
Oh, he's blown the motor. You see all the smoke coming out of the car way before he got into the corner. See it?
See a big stream of oil going down there too, buddy. You're right. Lost the motor getting down in the corner.
How did Wally Dallenbach miss that?
I got a better one than that. Look at Brett Bodine in just a second. He hits the wall right here. It starts back across the racetrack.
Good, Bodine's coming right through the oil right now.
Brett. He's in the oil right there. Now watch him start down here. He's going, do I have time?
He did, just barely.
He just did.
Mike, we just had a call from Rusty Wallace's pit. They said that they put a set of tires on that time and it made the car even tighter than it was before. So that last set of tires really slowed Rusty down.
As the caution came out for Trickle, Jeff Bodine took the Motorcraft Ford to the garage area, the Bud Moore car. And I believe he's exited that car. Sterling Marlin, the race leader, Alan Kulwicki, and Jimmy Spencer at the time of the caution. Glenn Jarrett.
This is Mike Beam, the crew chief for Sterling Marlin, and you guys made some adjustments to really set that thing to going, Mike.
Yeah, yesterday evening we weren't in that good shape and kind of worried. And we got together last night and this morning. We kind of talked about it and we changed some springs and basically went back to what we ran last fall here. And at the first race, you know, the car started sliding front end, but we changed air pressure, and he said that was pretty good there.
Well, you guys looked like you were set for a pit stop there. Sterling ducked like he was coming in. Was he just trying to trick him a little?
Well, we just wanted to see what everybody else was going to do. I figured that if we would have came, that everybody would stay out. So, and he liked that set of tires, so we said, heck, why not? We just stay out.
They got to catch him to pass him now. He's running awfully good.
Oh, I figure that a little differently up here. Neil, buddy.
You know, when we first saw the 22 car start down pit road, the first thing we said is the 7's going to stay out and lead a lap. As soon as the 7 stayed out, it looked like the 22 darted back out. So I'm not so sure it's not a little offense and defense there protecting that 5 points for leading the race.
I think both reasons are valid. Of course, Marlin's teammate is Bill Elliott. And if they can keep Kulwicki from leading a lap, that's 5 less points to worry about from that third place car. But Mike Beam's point is well taken. So Marlin stays on the racetrack to lead with Kulwicki second, Jimmy Spencer third, Rusty Wallace and Derek Cope. There was a collision between Bill Sedgwick and Bill Schmidt, the two Winston West Point leaders. As you look at the rest of the top 10, after the caution flag flew, we'll get to that in a bit here. But as we go to break, we asked Sterling Marlin what his thoughts are heading for 1993.
We're going to try to win us one or win two and finish out here. And then the day after the race, we're going to test the Ray Bessel's forward in Atlanta all day Monday. So we get there and be ready to go to Daytona and do all that testing. So get rolling for next year.
Driving Country turns up the heat with Jerry Reed.
Your daddy's rich.
And Paulette Carlson. Driving Country live Friday on TNN.
And it's Billy Ray Cyrus, country music star and host of the new home video, NFL Country.
Country music in the NFL. Man, that's a great combination.
Hey, Billy, tell them about the Super Bowl sweepstakes.
Well, the grand prize is a VIP trip for two to the 1993 Super Bowl, hosted by me.
First prize includes Billy Ray CDs and the new NFL Country home video. To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, and telephone number to Billy Ray Cyrus Super Bowl Sweepstakes. P.O. Box 10346, Stamford, Connecticut 06904.
and send in your postcards.
This TNN sweepstakes brought to you by Castrol GTX.
Getting set for the restart here at Phoenix. On the outside lane, Sterling Marlin, Alan Kulwicki. 12 car, Jimmy Spencer, Rusty Wallace in fourth, and Derek Cope in the Purelator car up to fifth. First top 5 run since the Southern 500 in 1991 when he finished fourth. And you're watching from Rusty Wallace's car in 6th place, or in 4th place rather.
There's Dale Jarrett down the inside. Dale got a lap down with those tire changes earlier. And he's a lap car, but there's Spencer right up under Kulwicki, buddy, like you're talking about. Spencer's coming on, Bobby Allison's car.
I'll tell you what, Jimmy Spencer's got to be one of the most exciting drivers to watch on a racetrack. As a matter of fact, that's his nickname, Mr. Excitement. And I'll tell you what, when he's going like he is right now, I can't wait for him to get up there with Sterling. We're going to have some great racing.
By going to break, Sterling Marlin mentioned he'd be driving the Raybestos Ford next year. That's neither Junior Johnson nor Bobby Allison's car. The Raybestos sponsorship moves to the Stavola Brothers team that Dick Trickle now drives for. Trouble in 4, Ricky Rudd almost hit the wall. Can't get down to pit road as if he had a problem there, and he's off the pace. They're streaming past the Tide car of Rudd.
Mike, I was watching him as they went down in turn 3. Rudd got tapped on the inside by another car, and he went right up to the wall, and he got in that marbles, and he had to just totally slow down to about 40 or 50 miles an hour to get it straight down. He went all the way to the rear.
What a pack of traffic he was in the midst of when that happened. So as we said, the Stavola car with Sterling Marlin next year will carry the Raybestos sponsorship. Bobby Allison's car, unknown what will be on the quarter panel, or definitely who will be in the seat. Trickle's plans in doubt as well.
I'll tell you what, the only thing I can say with Bobby Allison's car, the stock is going up in that thing. The last few races, they've been right in the hunt.
And just to finish that part of the story off, the 22 car, there will be a 22 car with Maxwell House on it, but it won't be Junior Johnson's car. That announcement will be made at Atlanta. Let's have another look here. Watch for Ricky Rudd, right side of the screen.
But he's already been tapped. Must be the blue car here tapped him back in the corner. Look at Rudd. He's up there. I mean, that's like running in sand and gravel, that part of the track. And you just can't get a hold of it. He's doing everything he can get. I see the back end still working around. He did a good job not to spin the car.
Well, when the car gets back straight, the tendency is to believe you saved it. And a lot of times it's still sliding. So he had to make sure. That's why he got so slow.
Rudd back up to speed now. Bill Elliott right behind him, then Kyle Petty. There's Jeff Bodine. Here's Randy.
I'm down here with Jeff Bodine. Jeff, short day for you. What happened?
Short? This is shorter than I am. I'm a pretty short guy, right? Blew up. What can I say? Hey, we started out a little bad. Weren't running really good. Had a set of tires that weren't quite working. But I'll tell you, that second set after that pit stop, that thing was flying. And the engine was running pretty good. It wasn't as strong as we probably needed, but still the car was running good. Then it just blew up.
I know you were running well, but the track seems to be slick out there for some guys. What does the other competition look like?
I'll tell you, it's killing me I'm in here because that car was hooked up. We had the right setup for this slippery track. It was great. I was having a ball in that second after that restart. You know, I don't know who's running. I was just coming up there passing everybody I got to. I was looking at the front, saw Rusty up front. I wanted to get to him, but hey, Motorcraft Eagle look forward. Next week, Atlanta, the last race. Richard Petty's last race. See you there.
Jeff Bodine once told me as a modified driver, his career goal was someday to move south and drive for Richard Petty when Richard hung up his helmet. 2 years ago, Bodine told me, he said, gosh, he says, Richard may retire. He says, I may retire before Richard does. He says, so much for that dream.
It happened to me, Mike. I know how it feels.
There's Richard. And a look out the back of the camera, the roof cam. Richard in 21st place on the lead lap. The way they're running around here, 21st, not a bad spot to be. You're running well if you're up in 21st today. If the race ended right now, Bill Elliott would lead by 32 points going to Atlanta. And Alan Kulwicki, the third-place car, would be tied with Davey Allison, 32 points out of first. Wow.
Mike, if it ended now, you'd have a bunch of people mad, I'll tell you.
Yeah, all the people who couldn't get tickets for Atlanta, including us. Kyle Petty and Brett Bodine go at it. Here's your Napa Field standing update. Bill Elliott inside Wally Nollenbeck. Wally's run well today here. One of his best runs this season, I feel. And he's never raced on this track. Tested out here with Kyle Petty and Mark Martin a few weeks ago. And was running right with them.
Well, you almost just keep waiting for Elliott to make his move. You know, he said he thought the car was pretty good, but they just haven't been able to get up in the middle of it. And if they ever need to run good, it's right here. But they also might be, there's a car blowing, the 21 car. Morgan Shepherd's blowing, going down the corner. See if he can keep it off the wall.
Yellow flag. Morgan stays out of the wall. Quick word from Randy.
Gentleman in front of the infield care center, Dick Trickle, did walk in. He is okay. I talked to his crew chief, Ken Wilson. He said he's okay, but I think Dick's in there, if anything, blowing off a little steam. He's a little upset.
Good news that he is all right. As Morgan Shepherd now, we've had 2 cars go out of this race with engine trouble, and both have been Fords.
You know, that's a good thing Morgan's doing right there. He's staying up out of the groove. Now he's going over across the racetrack, but he didn't stay out where you raced and coat the whole racetrack with oil and water.
Good point, buddy. We're at 86 laps. And this looks like it'll be a big dive onto pit road.
Mike, you know, all year long we brag about you just don't see a lot of motors blowing up. But hey, this is the end of the season. We heard a lot of the teams say we're putting a ton of gear in these cars. Everybody's going for broke and they're twisting these motors out of the frame, and some of them are going to pay the price for it.
I can tell you, we seen the telemetry a while ago, and there's 8,700 down that back straightaway. That's a ton of RPM for a car to turn down through there.
I tell you what, if the engine builders are watching the TV, they're going to be nervous.
Pit stops the order of the day. I thought Alan Kulwicki might stay out to lead a lap and collect 5 points, but he is going to come in with the rest of the leaders. Now, last time, under caution, Davey Allison came in 9th and came out 7th. Otherwise, the leaders were pretty much unchanged. They pit here all the way down around into turn 1. Much like the turn 4 pits at Richmond, these pits are actually way down in the first corner.
You know, you can't say enough about the speed limit on pit road. Isn't it nice not to have to hold your breath every time they come in for pit stops now? Everything's a lot more organized, and you're not worried about all these guys getting run over. I think that's the best thing they've done in a long time to help racing.
You know, when we sat and watched Kulwicki not come in, that pretty well says, hey, I'm pretty confident. I think I can lead this race later on today. He probably feels he's got a winning race car. So he's not concerned about leading it on the caution. He thinks he can do it on the green.
You know, I'm correcting you. There are 3 cars that have lost engines, 3 good cars. And again, they're all Fords. Dick Trickle, Jeff Bodine, and Morgan Shepherd.
I tell you one thing that gets you here. We saw the telemetry a while ago. The front straightaway, you brought it up at the top of the show. The back straightaway is 500 foot longer, and it twists the motor real hard down the back if you run a good RPM down the front straightaway.
Looking at Alan Kulwicki's car here. He'll be 3rd on the restart. Randy?
Well, Morgan Shepherd climbing out of the Citgo Ford. Morgan, what's the story with all the engines going this early?
I think most everybody is trying to pull 2 lower gears and turning their engines too much, because I think that's what was wrong with us. We was turning about 8,600, and that's just a little bit too much to ask of the engine. But we just got our car adjusted up, and Citgo Thunderbird was running good.
Why is everybody changing the gear ratio here?
Well, to help get them up off the corner, it's hard to pull up off a 2 over. You bog the car down so much. And everybody's just trying to beat each other down the back straightaway, and they're blowing them up.
Okay, sorry you're out of it. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett on pit road.
Well, I'm still down in the leaders. Well, it used to be the leader, Sterling Marlin's pit. Guys down here, particularly Mike Beam, the crew chief, a little upset. They had a slow pit stop. Rusty Wallace and Davey Allison both beat Marlin out of the pits. Kind of hard to believe, because Sterling is pitted in the next to the last pit down here. He got in clean and got away clean. They had some trouble with the left side tires, so they got some ground to make up on the racetrack now. They're not happy at all down here right now, guys.
Well, Glenn, they also got beat on strategy. See on Mark Martin's dash, good luck Joe Amato in the Winston Finals this weekend, NHRA drag racing. He is the champion, we're told. Kenny Bernstein lost in the first round, so Amato wins that title. Harry Gant did not pit and picks up 5 bonus points for leading the lap, and we're told Alan Kulwicki chose to take on only 2 tires, hoping to be the leader under this caution, and instead is now the 2nd place car. Now there's Bill Elliott's car, and again you see what Neil alluded to when he appeared to get into the back of Jeff Bodine. A little bit of what's at least cosmetic damage.
I'll tell you, Mike, one good thing going for them, those cars have got roll bar structure. It just lays right against that sheet metal out there. It's just like a bumper inside the car. So The outside sheet metal might be rolled back, but there's plenty of protection out there off the radiator. Didn't seem to do that much damage.
We're about halfway through our balloting on who should be Winston Cup champion. Bill Elliott, Davey Allison, Alan Kulwicki, or Kyle Petty on our 800 number. Calling toll-free, 800-451-7331, and cast your vote. We'll be right back.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, the Norse ritual is Right Guard Sports Stick. An aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What does it take to be a mountain man? Let's see. A mountain man must be fearless, sure-footed, willing to answer the call of the wild. But most of all, a mountain man should be thirsty for a smooth bush beer or an easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and see if you have what it takes to be a real mountain man.
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. The Fram Extra Guard Oil Filter. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. Fram Extra Guard. American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
You see that long looping backstretch of Phoenix International Raceway on the right side of your screen? That grandstand is packed about twice what the parking lot is here today. We may not get back to the hotel till midnight tonight, but it's going to be worth it. The way they've been racing around this track reminds me a lot of the way Michigan International Speedway used to be, where they'd be 3 and 4 wide and you could make a pass any place on the racetrack.
I don't know of another racetrack that we go to that you can see racing any better than you do right here.
Let's check with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I'm in Bill Elliott's pit, and I wanted to check with the crew chief, Tim Brewer, to just see what that damage was in the right front of Bill's car. Tim said it wasn't anything to worry about. He said he thought he got it when he knocked the blank out of Jeff Bodine when they were racing out there. So it just minor contact, just a day at the office, nothing serious.
Must have been that blank section of the rear bumper. Pace car stretching out the field here. The 41 car, and that is Hut Strickland today. Greg Sachs qualified the car, but had fallen ill. So Hut Strickland was just out here as a spectator, and they tapped him for the ride in that car. Green flag.
Mike, this is going to be a critical start. Kulwicki just took on 2 tires to try to get up there and lead a lap. But Gant stayed out. He's on old tires. Kulwicki needs to try to take the lead early because the guys behind him, they've got 4 tires. Kulwicki was gambling. Let's go see if it pays off.
The race ended now. 25 points back to Davey Allison and 5 more to Kulwicki. Gant is slipping back, and Alan Kulwicki will get his wish unless Rusty Wallace passes him off turn 4.
Yeah, Gant was on those old tires. There were 4 old tires on his car. He stayed out in the lead lap, but he's going to pay the price for it now.
That made me a little tense. He's going down the back straightaway and run through all that oil drive. I thought he lost the motor just for a second.
Mark Martin's underneath Gant now as you ride with Davey Allison. He is the 4th place car. The man at the head of the pack, Hut Strickland, is on the tail end of the lead lap. Strickland will drive the number 27 McDonald's Ford for Junior Johnson next year. Stanley Smith there in the picture, just ahead of race leader Alan Kulwicki in the Hooters Ford.
There was Kulwicki trying to get under Smith, getting down in the corner.
Oh, that's got to be frustrating for the leader. Now Stanley Smith is also on the tail end of the lead lap.
Looks like Rusty might have a good set of tires back on there again. He's starting to really work them over.
And you see that Kellogg's livery on the car that Hut Strickland's driving. Terry Labonte and Billy Hagan will have the Kellogg sponsorship next year.
That's about as close as Rusty's going to follow him, I believe, Mike.
If he was following him any closer, he'd be leading him.
Or carrying him, I'm not sure which.
You're riding with Rusty. The pole sitter, man who's led the most laps thus far. As they sweep off into turn 3. They've dispensed now with Hut Strickland, but not with Stanley Smith.
Pretty impressive for Stanley Smith. They seemed to move up on him, but they can't make the pass on him.
See if Kulwicki can get up under him. Now, keep in mind, Kulwicki just took on 2 tires. Rusty and the rest of the guys have 4 fresh tires, so should be an edge on their side.
I don't know. Looks like 2 is all Allen needed.
Yeah, and right behind them, you seen that Texaco Star jump in the camera. I tell you, Davey's on the move, too.
Well, if you've mailed your entry for the July Halfway Challenge, they could call you after halfway, and some driver knocks down that $10,000 bonus for leading the halfway lap. You could win a new Chevy Lumina, so stay by your TV, stay by your phone, and grab a postcard and enter the contest for the Atlanta race. If you're 18 or over, send your entry to Gillette, Box 2246, St. Petersburg, 33731.
Neil,
Name and phone number.
I believe Stanley might have got the good out of those 4 tires now. They seem to be going by him pretty easily.
Boy, Rusty's car sticks right on the bottom. Kulwicki slid out a little bit in that corner. Rusty's right on the bottom. Now Rusty's got the entire racetrack to work with. Looked like him and Smith got together coming down in there.
Rusty has been the car to beat here since they opened the track for practice this weekend. See if he can track down Alan Kulwicki while he still has the advantage of fresh tire.
Allen's running just a little bit higher line than Rusty, but he gets off the corner good right there.
Ford against Pontiac here.
Boy, buddy, looks like Kulwicki's car really jumped off that back straightaway. He's got a lot of motor in that car.
They're pulling a lot of gear and got a lot of motor, but it looks like Rusty is driving way into the corner. The car seems to be sticking perfect.
Derek Cope just passed by Dale Earnhardt 1 lap ago, but he is still on the leaderboard in 7th spot.
You know, a lot of Earnhardt's positions that he's made up are in the pits. Every time he comes into pits, he picks up 7 or 8 spots. So they're really making him work.
Yeah, it puts him right back in the hunt every time they do have a caution.
Rusty Wallace can gain a pile of points here today. Morgan Shepherd was 10th in the points. He's fallen out of the race. So Earnhardt 11th and Wallace 12th in the standings. Let's move up. Kyle Petty and Brett Bodine going at it.
Davey Allison trying to get around Stan Smith. They get down in the corner. 22 car right behind the boot.
Randy Pemberton.
Well, gentlemen, I'm down here in the 28 pits. I talked to the crew members down here. I said, have you made any adjustments on Davey's car? It seems to be coming. He said, no, we haven't touched it. We're waiting for the track to come to us, and we think it's coming right now. Obviously, what that means is it gets slick out there, and they're hoping that their chassis setup is going to be better on for later on the race. Neil Bonnet, Buddy Baker, you can relate to that.
Absolutely can, and it's showing up. I mean, that's the one thing you have to be able to do is set your car up for later in the race, and Davey knows how to do that.
You know, we not only deal with the sunshine and the heat, but you got to think we've seen 3 blown engines, a little bit of oil on the track, oil dry. The track just gets slimy all over, and it looks like it is coming to a few of the race cars.
Rusty underneath Kulwicki. Not only did Alan Kulwicki win the inaugural race here at Phoenix, but from 88 through 91, he has completed every single lap of every race. Never been lapped here at this track. 1,350 laps. He's been on the lead lap every time they run here.
Mike, sometimes when you're in the points battle, you're content to lead a lap for points. But what he's got to consider now, I need to lead the most laps. He's scrambling for points. If he leads the most laps, he even gets more points. So he's not going to just take that one and be content. He's going to race Rusty right now and try to lead the most laps in this race.
I'll say one thing, Rusty's going to make him earn it. Every chance he slips or anything, he sticks the nose right up under him.
That lap past Butch Gilliland, Davey Allison comes into view.
You know, if anything, buddy, when you start weighing out fact against facts, he should be a little bit better, because if we know ourselves how much the tires how much advantage. Boy, Rusty got it down down off the track and the oil drive got her sideways. But we talk about tires all the time, but 4 tires are supposed to beat 2. It might not do it right now, but as this run continues, Rusty's car should be a little bit better, but it's not showing up that way now.
If he keeps cutting it sideways like that, though, he's going to wear off the new.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go back to 15th spot. Darrell Waltrip with Bill Elliott, Harry Gant, and Ricky Rudd. Now there's Elliott. If the race ended at this moment, he would lead Kulwicki and Allison by 20 points. Davey and Allen would be tied. Gosh. 106 laps complete. Let's run you back through the field in front of this packed house here at Phoenix International Raceway. Kulwicki, Wallace, Allison, Marlin, and Spencer, the front 5. The rest of the top 10, Mark Martin, Earnhardt, Irvin, Cope, and Schrader. Mark Martin running in 6th place right now. We asked Martin what he would have to do to have a more successful season than this in 1993.
We've never had a race where a Daytona 500 where we didn't have major problems. And, you know, I think that's important. I think we need to come out of Daytona in the top 10 in points and focus on, you know, racing for the points and racing to win like we always do. And I think it'll give us a better shot.
When your engine is working hardest and needs protection most, Castrol GTX is the only leading motor oil that meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown in every grade. Fact is, the only way you can get that kind of performance from any other leading brand of oil is like this. Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Try Castrol Super Clean for tough, greasy jobs. If it won't come clean with Super Clean, it won't come clean.
Miller Genuine Draft congratulates Bobby Rahal on winning the 1992 PPG IndyCar World Series Championship. When we said he was flying, we weren't lying.
This is the $825 billion question. That's how much foreign corporations operating in the U.S. took in one year. But 72% of them didn't pay one dime in taxes, not one dime. And George Bush supports tax loopholes for foreign companies operating here. Supports them so much that he attacks Bill Clinton for wanting to close them. Bill Clinton wants to collect what foreign corporations owe and put the money to work to rebuild America. Clinton Gore, for people, for a change.
Folks in these parts think Tom Lawton is the best thing to ever turn a wrench. But back east, they'll put their money down on the guys at McClellan's. It seems in every town there's always one place that does a little bit better job fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts. Look for the sign of quality car repair. Napa.
The Nashville Network's exclusive coverage of the Pyroil 500 is being brought to you by AC Delco. It's like buying time. Great signs out there in the grandstand. As we watch Rusty Wallace, he has taken the lead from Alan Kulwicki. After we went to break, and he did it by taking the line away down in turn 1. Here they come to the start-finish line.
Well, Rusty's on the inside of the racetrack, and this early in the race, you notice Kulwicki, it's a give-and-take type sport right at this moment. He just backed off, let him go. Fell right in position there, but he got another problem coming up in just a second. Davey Allison closed in on the rear bumper of Kulwicki.
Rusty Wallace from on board. The Miller Pontiac beneath the Goodyear Bridge at turn 4.
Nothing to it. Look at that, Neil.
Yeah, looks like he's got it going his way, hasn't he?
A little further back, Ken Schrader in a ding-dong battle with Kyle Petty and Derek Cope. This is back in 9th position.
Kyle's got up under him a few times, but he couldn't make the pass.
Bill Elliott still in a pack of traffic. There's that 9th place battle once again. This has been a good one. They've been side by side the last couple of laps. Now they've kind of settled out single file. Let's check with Randy.
Well, I came down here to talk to crew chief Barry Dotson. I said, you guys were about perfect early on, and now you're a little hit and miss. I asked him what the problem was. He said they took 2 rounds of bite out. Evidently, they were closer than they thought. When he comes back in, they're going to put the 2 rounds back in the car, and hopefully that'll hit it for him. He can go back to the front.
Dotson crew chief on Derek Cope's Bob Whitman car, the cheerleader machine.
Kyle trying to get up under Schrader coming off the corner.
They're back to 2x2 again for 9th place. Here they come. Schrader advantage.
Is that an actual note we just got? We understand that the 11 might be losing a little bit of water out there.
NASCAR officials having a long look at it as he went past start finish.
Yeah, we've been watching as he goes on start finish line. The officials are about to fall off the flag stand, looking to see if that is the problem. And I'm sure he's getting some help from some of the other teams officiating. They'll be saying if anything happened at 11, they'll let him know. That's just strictly a note passed to us. It's nothing verified.
Let's move up and look at the race for 4th here. Here's 9th. Here is 4th place. Sterling Marlin, Jimmy Spencer, Mark Martin. Well, let's see if some of Joe Amato's good luck can wear off on Martin today.
If he had Joe Amato's motor, that thing he's fixing to get small right here.
Sammy Kershaw was here to sing the national anthem. Those of you that are inveterate watchers of TNN will know that Sammy co-stars in the new Mark Martin music video.
He co-stars. I thought Mark helped him.
Hard to say who gets more camera time. I think the car does. The Jack Roush Valvoline Ford gets more camera time than anything else in that video. But it's a neat one, and it's getting some pretty heavy play here on TNN. Kershaw was here to sing the national anthem.
That 6 car gets a lot of play on TNN also.
Yeah.
That's a very competitive race car.
There's Spencer directly in front of Mark. Spencer was right in the middle of it. Looked like they had a little bit of a problem on the caution on the pit stop. They didn't come out in front.
You know, Sammy Kershaw and Alan Jackson both went to racing school recently. Maybe next year, instead of the Winston Legends, we'll have the Winston Country Singing Stars in Winston Cup cars. Boy, I'd buy a ticket to see that on that little oval in Charlotte.
Boy, talking about buying a ticket to see something. Davey Allison just tried Alec Kulwicki the lap before on the inside. He tried him outside that time. Davey's car at the first, we thought he was having a lot of problems, but he just drove back to the front, and he's trying Kulwicki on both sides.
Look how nice and smooth his hands are on the steering wheel. I tell you, Davey Allison got a car that is hooked up perfect right now. Well, as soon as I said that, he looked like he had a swarm of bees on it.
Yeah, but you know, he's trying to get up. He's having to actually take the car out of the groove and put it on a different place of track. Kulwicki's sitting in the groove, and Davey's having to take what's left, but he's going to have to work to do it. If he could just get them lined up straight, that little black would have come down that straightaway.
3rd place battle we're watching. They are 2.2 seconds behind Rusty Wallace. Let's go back to 10th spot. Kenny Schrader's moved away from this race, but Darrell Waltrip has come right up to it. Kyle Petty, Derek Cope, and Darrell.
It's almost one of these normal deals. Where'd Darrell come from? You don't say a whole lot about him. He'll work himself right into the picture.
A little early for him, isn't it?
He knows it's a short race.
Yeah, right. Now this battle is 11 seconds behind the leader. Here goes Darrell underneath Derek Cope.
Wow.
And Mike Waltrip moving up, then Bill Elliott.
That's pretty impressive, Neil. He just made a hard left. People, don't touch your dial. There's nothing wrong when I'm talking. I got about the worst cold I've ever had in my life, so if I sound like I'm in a tube, I am.
I asked Buddy what he was taking for it. He says, how much will you give me? Thanks a lot.
I want to move over a notch. I might get it over here. There's Tim Brewer or the Budweiser crew. I'm sure they're trying to figure what to do to make that 11 car better for this points battle.
There they work around Ron Hornaday's car, the driver who locked up the Winston Southwest Tour Championship in yesterday's Wreck Fest here in Phoenix.
I can guarantee you one thing, the 11 car is not losing water. He would have been out by now if that be the case.
I tell you, when you're leading the points battle, you've got 30 other inspectors. The rest of the teams are saying, hey, Bill's car is doing this, Bill's car is doing that. But like Buddy said, if he's having a problem, if the RPMs they're turning these cars, that thing will be cooked right now.
Let's check with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I'm in the Budweiser pits right now, and I see the water coming out of the right rear of Bill's car as he exits turn 2. Now, Tim Brewer says that it's only a little bit of overflow water, but for that thing to be pushing water out the overflow that much, it's got to be running hot. I also saw Junior Johnson back here adjusting and getting ready the pressurized water container. They got a problem. They just don't want to admit to it yet, but I can see the water coming out of the car.
Bill Elliott in 14th position would be 26 points ahead of both Davey Allison and Alan Kulwicki if this race ended now.
Mike, we're trying to get a shot of the car ourselves. If it does come out, the overflow tube is right on the right rear bumper. It would be coming out right on the right rear bumper behind the right rear wheel, and they've been taking a look to see if they can see it from the TV angle here.
I think we may have a shot of it here.
Look over on the right rear of the car. There you go.
Yeah,
See that thing belching a little bit of water out of that right rear. And where the call comes from initially is the other drivers are saying, hey, the 11 guy's putting water down. Most of the time you get the call from the racetrack and NASCAR observes it.
A track bar at Charlotte. Overheating here. There's Junior Johnson. Glenn?
Junior, looks like a little water coming out of the car. What's the problem?
Well, we don't know. They put an awful lot of quick dry on the racetrack a while ago. And we don't know if a lot of that's got in the radiator or what it is, but it looks like it went from 190 degrees to 115. That's where it stopped. We don't know this is exactly what it is. We think maybe the radiator might have a lot of drag, quick dry off the racetrack in it right now.
Well, I think he meant to 215 degrees, and that's getting awful hot. That's getting tested.
As a car runner, Junior Johnson's going for his 7th title. Petty Enterprises has won 10 national championships.
They might be wondering if there's any water coming out. The Junior had a hose in his hand. He's going to be ready.
Gillette Halfway Challenge again in today's race. Driver who leads the halfway lap gets 10 grand. If you send in your postcard, you could win a Chevy Lumina, so stay by the phone. There's the address to write in and enter the Gillette Halfway Challenge contest for Atlanta.
Mike, a lot of people that's dealt with hot race cars, hot motors say, well, how do you take the radiator cap off and cool it down? They don't have to in a race car. That radiator is made with a quick coupler, a positive coupler with a male and a female. They'll snap it on in a pressure water into the radiator. They won't have to take the cap off, so they've got the ability to cool it down without taking the cap off.
129 laps complete here at Phoenix. Wallace, Allison, Kulwicki, Marlin, and Martin, the top 5. Spencer, Earnhardt, Irvin, Darrell Waltrip, and Schrader, the top 10. We asked Terry Gant, what have you picked up from this season to take with you toward 1993?
We learned a lot of things this last part of this year. We had a lot of changes in the cars that affected us some, and also the cylinder heads affected some. But next year we'll be in aluminum, so we ought to be able whatever we start with ought to be what we have all year. So we've had to do a lot of things this year, and we hope next year is going to be real good for us.
The road is the ultimate test. It demands the will, the determination, the energy to go further. At Texaco, you'll find that energy in System 3 gasolines for improved performance in all octane grades. It's not just in our products, it's also in our services. Everywhere you go. At Texaco, we meet the challenge of the road and then go even further.
Country legend Loretta Lynn relives fond memories and performs the music that made her famous.
No, don't come home drinking with lovin' on your mind.
Join Tanya Tucker, Patty Loveless, Randy Travis, and Conway Twitty
We get together but time can.
for Loretta Lynn, The Seasons of My Life. Monday at 10, 9 Central on TNN. Next Sunday, live on TNN Motorsports. The end is here. Your last shot at NASCAR on TNN till next year. So don't miss it. Live from Hickory, North Carolina. Pantry 500 next Sunday, 2 Eastern on TNN.
And it's Billy. Had a rough day? You're ready to go someplace that's laid back, comfortable, and lots of fun? Then go to the Roost Restaurant and Lounge. There's something for everybody at the Roost. Karaoke, darts, dart tournaments, pool, or just watch your favorite sports on one of our TVs. Hungry? Wait till you see and taste the famous Roost Burger and take the Roost Burger Challenge and try our king-size sandwiches, Cincinnati chili and Coney dogs. Open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Warwick Boulevard at Newport News. The Roost. Great food, great times.
Slowing down, that ain't you. No, that's not you. Easy drinking beer, that silver bullet smooth.
Know where it's coming from, setting the mood, the pure taste of the Rockies and silver bullet smooth.
Make the move, Coors Lights, it's silver bullet smooth.
As at Charlotte 2 races ago, Bill Elliott has run into trouble at Phoenix. He is on pit road right now. You see him spraying water through the grill and into the cooling system.
Junior's, boy, look at that thing. It's cut a cylinder down. And, you know, it must have ran so hot it blew a head gasket or something. But we saw Junior spraying water on the radiator, and we saw Tim Brewer pressuring it. See Tim on the right was snapping that cover on. He's trying to get the motor to take water. It's a matter if it's so hot if it will or not.
Yeah, if the steam pressure exceeds the water pressure, it won't go in there.
Neil, he had a blown head gasket or something before this because, you know, Junior said he's running 215. They don't spit water out if the cap and all is right on the car. It'll go 225 before you start losing water.
Let's show you Bill Elliott as he came around this racetrack. A little bit of smoke became a lot of smoke out that right side header pipe, and he came to pit road.
Boy, they're going to have to be. What their concern is now, will they let them finish the race?
Let's find out. Glenn?
Well, Neil, you're exactly right. The thing did blow a head gasket. They have poured sodium silicate into that pressurized water container to try to get that head gasket to seal. It looks like it's going to be futile, though. That thing is really hot, and it's not taking much water. They have put the hood back down. They're going to try to send him back out right now, but I got a feeling he'll be back in here real shortly.
Buddy, you know yourself and Glenn that when you put that chemical in that radiator, the way to make it close it is you run it hot, you cut the motor off, let it cool down, then it seals. You're almost asking to do something. I've seen cylinder heads cracked half in two, and you can seal it. If you would let it cool down and glass over, it's going to be hard to do running in it.
His biggest problem now is whether he's losing so much smoke out of the car that NASCAR will black flag and pull him back in.
Elliott was on pit road for 1 minute and 42 seconds. Here's the other Junior Johnson car. 4 Fords have had engine trouble today. Jeff Bodine, Dick Trickle, Morgan Shepherd to the garage, and Bill Elliott back out running around.
Jimmy Spencer's having no problems whatsoever. That's the race for 5th right now, and he's moving under Sterling and going down in the corner.
And I point that out, not cheerleading for or against Ford Motor Company, but all of the engine failures thus far in this race have been to contending Ford cars.
Mike, here's the other side of the story with Bill Elliott. Elliott having trouble. Davey Allison, if you'll take a look out the front of that windshield, that's Rusty Wallace up there. Davey is in second place. It's been really rusty, and so it's complicating things for Elliott. Davey's on the move.
And Alan Kulwicki is third. Randy?
Well, I'm standing by with crew chief Larry McReynolds for Davey Allison's car. I know you hate to see that happen, but in the same token, you like to see it happen.
Well, you know, we wanted to win this thing heads up, and I mean, we got to still look over our shoulder too. Kulwicki's running awfully good. You know, you can't count him out. We're just going to try to do the best we can here today. Maybe the luck's evening out here today, and we'll get to go to Atlanta with a heads-up shot.
Larry, all the cars that went out are Fords with engine problems. What about it?
Well, I don't really know. You know, we're pulling a pretty low gear. We've told him to watch his RPMs, and he said it's not a problem. We keep trying to slow him down, try to conserve everything. We need to be here at the end, but I don't know really what to attribute to. Felt like some of the General Motors cars were pulling lower gears than some of the Fords, so it really don't add up.
Are you going to slow him down just a tick now, or are you going to slow him down just a tick?
Well, you know, we got to keep looking at that 7 car, so we're not going to change our game plan.
Davey Allison second in this race would take over the point lead were the race to end now, and Alan Kulwicki would move to second.
You know what? I was so proud to hear him say they're going to race for it, Neil. That's how you win championship, not playing it safe.
Yeah, you know, if he's running as good as he is today, you better take advantage of that, because he could go to Atlanta and have a bad race, and it would cost him. He needs to pile up as many points as they can today and put them in the bank.
Bill Elliott told the Phoenix paper in this morning's edition that it was their championship to lose. All he needed to do was have 2 good races. It wouldn't matter what Kulwicki or Allison did. That has now changed. Mark Martin has come up to 4th spot as you ride with Davey Allison. Kulwicki and Martin are close together there for 3rd spot. Dale Jarrett, a couple laps down, splitting them. Dale made a pit stop early under the green flag. Bill Elliott running at reduced speed, but still making laps. Elliott is presently 6 laps off the pace. Check that, 5 laps off the pace right now. If the race ended now, Davey Allison would lead by 15 points over Alan Kulwicki, headed for Atlanta, and it'd still be a 4-horse race.
While we watch this great race going down the front straightaway, I will tell you that Bill Elliott's picking up a lot more smoke in the corners. He's coming down pit road right now.
Well, when you blow the head gasket on one of those things, you're asking for a miracle for it to seal itself with that chemical. They're just, here's Jack Roush. Now, here's Jack Roush, one of the finest engine builders in the country. He's probably saying, hey, you might be able to do this, or you might be able to do that. They've got an option to take that plug wire over or back those valves off. They're trying to decide what to do.
Glenn Jarrett's there.
Well, Elliott brings the car back in, and as you said, Neil, Jack Roush was giving Junior some ideas, some pointers on what to maybe try. There's not a lot of hurry right now because there's not a whole lot they're going to be able to do. Again, they're going to try to put the pressurized water into it, but that didn't work last time. I don't expect it will this time. As you can see, a tremendous amount of smoke coming out of the car. That thing is really cooked, so I don't know. It's going to be a long shot. As soon as we can, we'll get a word with either Junior or Tim Brewer to see if it's something they're going to be able to nurse along all day or whether they're just going to have to park.
Now, you're not allowed to change engines. Zygar team used to do it in about 10 minutes. That's not allowed anymore, but could they change that cylinder head gasket?
No, I think Neil said it a while ago. If they shut it off right now, pour some more sealant in there, there's a chance that might lock it down.
He shut her down a little bit, but they do have that option, Mike, like you were talking about. You've got to finish the race with the same block in the car. So they can put a set of heads on it and repair it. There's Kyle Petty having trouble.
He was way up in turn number 1, and a bit of smoke from Petty's Pontiac.
There's another guy in the points battle we were talking about having trouble early.
This is looking like yesterday all over again. He's got a right front down.
Yep, they got a right front and went flat.
Yeah, I don't think it's engine. I saw him way up out of the groove at turn number 1, and he might have cut that tire down and could have slapped the wall a bit.
Lost the tire getting in the corner.
Let's hope he can save the front suspension of that car. We'll have a look at it here as Kyle comes in on the rim. Here's another look.
Lost the tire before he got to the corner, buddy. Looked like he lost it going down in.
I'll tell you what, I don't know how he kept it out the wall. Look at the sparks under the car there. He's leaving a trail all the way through there.
Yeah, he's sitting on steel right now. It falls off that rubber, lands on that track bar, and it's going to slide.
If he'd have slammed the brakes on it and went head on in the wall, he did the best thing he could do, just let it roll through that corner rather than slam on the brakes.
Kyle Petty might have used up all of his good luck last week.
No, he's still having good luck. If you have a tire go flat down the straightaway and you don't hit the wall, you're lucky.
That's true.
Even though they had tire told right front, they will do 4 tires. Anytime you come into pits with this reduced speed limit, you might as well put 4 of them in.
So 4 tires as we watch 6th place. 23-second stop for Kyle Petty. Darrell Walter, Western Auto Chevrolet, and the Maxwell House Ford of Sterling Marlin go at it for 6th.
Woo, spaghetti time. Look at this thing.
You get to trade those tires back in when they get like that.
I think the tread wear guarantee is gone on that one. Darrell Walter moves up a notch on Sterling Marlin. Rusty Wallace is the leader. Davey Allison second, Alan Kulwicki third, Mark Martin fourth. Fifth will be Jimmy Spencer. And here's 6th place. Another look at the top 5 at 152 laps. From 6th on back, Waltrip, Sterling Marlin, Earnhardt, Urban, and Musgrave.
Well, I drive a race car for a living. I depend on the parts and pieces in my car. And I feel so confident knowing that Pennzoil is protecting the moving parts inside of my engine. Pennzoil's quality and protection give me the confidence I need to do my job without second thought. The protection that Pennzoil offers this race team makes us feel great. That's why I have the confidence to use it on the street and in my race car. I recommend Pennzoil to everybody.
Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality.
Monroe introduces
road sensing technology. A new breed of Monroe shocks and struts that give you added control. New road sensing shocks and struts, only by Monroe. Designed to adjust automatically to give you added control without sacrificing comfort. Now, comfort and control are automatic. New road sensing technology, only by Monroe.
Iron Mike on rust.
I hate rust.
Iron Mike on tough.
This is tough. Rust tough. This is rust. Oleum? The dictionary defines tough as strong, not easily influenced, like me. The definition of oleum is, we sprayed this rusty metal plate with fast-drying rust tough, exposed the rusted metal, then placed it in the torture salt fog chamber. The rust didn't spread, it stayed tough. You want tough? What do you want? Oleum. Got rust? Get tough. Rust tough.
We were on our way home for a Thanksgiving vacation, and this 18-wheeler passed us, and I saw the trailer begin to sway, and I said he's going to lose it. And he did. It crashed. I spun out, it crashed again.
With the Dodge minivan, we totaled our vehicle, but we didn't lose a child.
With over 3 million sold, our minivans have been a part of more lives than all other minivans combined.
A dejected Bill Elliott watches his point lead slip away as smoke continues to billow for the Junior Johnson car. He's been on pit road for 5 minutes, and now caution comes out. Stanley Smith's Ameritron Batteries car had been limping around the racetrack and came to a halt at the beginning of pit road, pretty much blocking the pit entrance. So caution is out for the 4th time today. Here's the run to the halfway lap. Davey Allison trying to get underneath Rusty Wallace while we were in commercial, but it is Wallace who leads the halfway lap. Stanley Smith goes behind the wall thanks to an assist from the course worker. Rusty Wallace leads the halfway lap, takes home $10,000 from the Gillette Halfway Challenge, so stay by your phone. You enter the Gillette Halfway Challenge contest by mail, and the Gillette people call you in the next few minutes, and you know it was Rusty Wallace that led the halfway lap. You'll have a new Chevy Lumina Z34. Bill Elliott back on track. Spent a long time on pit road, nearly 6 minutes. Won this race in '89. Pit stops for the leaders. Ricky Rudd stays out on the racetrack as he had just gone a lap down prior to the caution flag. So it's Wallace, Allison, Martin, Kulwicki, Spencer, Waltrip, Marlin, Earnhardt, Ernie Irvin all in the lead lap. Ted Musgrave, Harry Gant, Derek Cope, Bill Sedgwick and Bill Schmidt fighting for that Winston West title. Brett Bodine, Bobby Hamilton, Lake Speed, Kenny Schrader, Mike Waltrip, Rick Mast, and Wally Dallenbach all on the lead lap here. Not in that order necessarily. Quick stop for Allison, but not quite quick enough. Rusty will beat him off pit road. Again, we want to make sure that you vote on Election Day, November 3rd. Your vote counts. It's not only your privilege, but your duty as an American to cast your vote. And you voted Davey Allison should be Winston Cup champ by 38% of the popular vote. Bill Elliott got 30%. Kyle Petty and Alan Kulwicki among our top 4 contenders. So Tuesday, be sure to go vote. And if you're not going to be in town Tuesday, go to your town hall tomorrow and get an absentee ballot and fill it out. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I'm standing by with Jack Rouse. Jack, your crew just made an awfully good pit stop. Mark's car's running awfully well right now, but we got a question. We saw you talking to Junior Johnson a while ago concerning Bill Elliott's problems. What did you tell him?
Well, I knew how heartbroken they must be over their problem. You know, I was hoping for him that maybe they just had an oil leak. We've got some quick setup epoxy that'll work on aluminum and stop an oil leak with an engine running, and I was hoping that might help them out. I offered it up, but I think their problem's worse than that.
Well, back to your car. Mark's doing an awfully good job. He's been kind of quiet today, but he's strong right now.
Yeah, we lacked for track position there early based on qualifying 8th.
And then our jack broke on the first stop, but he's run as fast or faster than who's ever leading the whole race. We're really looking forward to see how this thing's going to work out.
And well, they might be, because he definitely has one of the fastest cars on the track.
Not only that, Glenn, but with the problems that have befallen Bill Elliott, Mark Martin may find himself back in this title chase at the end of the day. Remember that Roush's team received help from the Robert Yates crew 2 years ago. Yates let Roush and Mark Martin, when they were battling for the Winston Cup, borrow a brand new Ford race car to run at Atlanta when Mark was battling Earnhardt for the title. So when the chips are down, everybody kind of helps everybody.
Well, if you think back to Charlotte, Davey Allison had all those wrecks, and Junior let him use one of their cars for backup, so they swap them around.
Look at your top 10 here. Ron Esau has climbed aboard in relief of Butch Gilliland at number 24. 161 laps.
But you got to keep in mind, don't think it's just a coincidence that the Ford guys let the Ford guys borrow the Fords and the Chevrolets borrow the Chevrolets. They keep it in on their own teams, how they work it around.
It does work that way. You're watching Rusty Wallace in that Penske Miller Wallace Pontiac.
He'll look at him resting that left hand a little bit. He knows he's got to go back into battle in just a second here.
Getting ready to race again here.
He slaps his foot hard down on the gas, buries those Simpsons on the pedal, comes up a shift.
Checking that brake pedal, riding the brakes, getting a good warm. So when he gets down the first turn, simply watch him here on the start as he takes off and shifts and goes up through the gears. There it goes on the floor.
Hammer time.
He was in second. He's coming up through the gears now.
Green flag at lap 162. Wallace, Allison, Martin, Earnhardt up to fourth after pit stops in Ernie Irvan.
Yeah, Earnhardt had a great pit stop, and Ernie Irvan's been moving up through the field. Seems like these guys always end up front, or around halfway. The same guys are always up front.
Alan Kulwicki did not have a good pit stop. He is back to sixth. So Martin, the big winner on pit stops, and Earnhardt.
Like another guy that had problems, Jimmy Spencer. They messed a lug nut. He was up there in the middle of it. He's all the way back in the back, so they had a problem on their pit stop.
Davey Allison needs to lead a lap for those 5 bonus points. Rusty Wallace so far has led the most laps, and he'll be tough to pass.
See Ernie Irvan coming under Kyle Petty there. Ernie went down the back straightaway through the dog leg and run the left side all the way out in the grass trying to get by Kyle down through there.
Kyle, after that problem with the tire, is 2 laps down.
Mike, you know what we got to keep in mind? We see Kyle Petty racing here. Winning the thing pays $1 million, but nobody mentions about second, third, and fourth in the points. With all this stuff going on, it could be a big shuffle there. Each position is about $250,000 every time you move from second to third to fourth. So there's a lot of money on the line other than just first place.
Well, we talked all the way back. Wallace is 12th in the points. Could climb up into 10th today. Wallace, the leader. Davey Allison, Mark Martin, Earnhardt, and Irvan. The rest of the top 10, Schrader, Kulwicki, Harry Gant, Ted Musgrave. They're showing Terry Labonte. We're carrying him 1 lap down, however. Wallace at the front of the field. What lessons will he take from this season to 1993?
It's been a real learning experience this year. We've learned so much. We got a good crew chief. We got our stuff together. I mean, I really got a perfect feel that we're going to be able to lead the championship run next year because we got Pontiac's got a new nose, got a new tail section. The motors are going great, so I've carried T&N inside my car a long time. In fact, we'll carry it Sunday for him, so I'm excited about it. I'm ready.
In my career, I've had a lot of good things happen to me. Of course, there were a few headaches, but that's when I'd reach for a Goody's headache powder, and I'm not alone. In a recent survey, doctors preferred the Goody's Formula 2 by more than 3 to 1 over BC's. And only Goody's beats a headache the way I prefer, in record-breaking time.
All right. Makes you feel so good again.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. With not 1, but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Today, performance cars come in a variety of designs, sizes, and even prices. So do Goodyear Eagles, the world's most successful line of performance tires. There are all-season Goodyear Eagles, new ultra-performance Goodyear Eagles. There are Goodyear Eagles for the classic and for the contemporary. No matter what performance car you own, there's a Goodyear Eagle priced for you. It's another reason we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
The Nashville Network's exclusive coverage of the Pyroil 500 is being brought to you by AC Delco. It's like buying time. Wonder if the horse bought a ticket.
Well, when we talk about horsepower, we got it at this racetrack.
We got Earnhardt upside of Ernie Irvan. This is 4th place at stake. Kyle Petty, who is 2 laps down, is right in there with him. So is Kenny Schrader, the 6th place car. And just behind them, Alan Kulwicki.
They've ran about 3 laps side by side. It's like Buddy's talking about before. This is a great little racetrack for side-by-side racing.
The race ended now. Elliott would slip to 3rd. Harry Gant would move right up.
Looks like Kyle might have the best car in this bunch. He's waiting for somebody to move where he could go. These 2 guys running side by side really stacks the traffic up behind them.
Kyle had a good stop. He couldn't beat Rusty Wallace off the restart green flag to try to get one of those 2 laps back. All the rest of these cars are on the lead lap. Kulwicki was 3rd, but is back there because didn't have quite as quick a pit stop as the other cars there.
You know, Mike, we're watching this group running here. They're running as fast as the leaders, but they just have bad track position right now, and they're racing just as hard as the guys leading the race. That's the hard part of this place. If you get bad track position, you have to wait a pit stop and try to close back up again.
If the race ended right now, 6 drivers could still win the title. Allison would be the point leader, Kulwicki 19 behind, Elliott 42 back, Gant 66 back. Long shots would be Kyle Petty and Martin Martin. There's the King. He's running a lap down in 22nd place. Saturday night, November 14th, join Katie Haas and me in an all-star cast when Alabama salutes Richard Petty in a live 3-hour concert from the Georgia Superdome with special guests Joe Diffie and Lori Morgan. Saturday night, November 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central here on TNN on the night before Richard's final race, when Alabama throws one big country shindig live only on the Nashville Network. And still to come, lots more great live racing on TNN this fall and winter. More on that later. Kenny Schrader's moved right up on Kulwicki. And more smoke from Bill Elliott's car down in turn 1. The smoke had abated somewhat. Now it's right back up there. You see it.
This has definitely been a Halloween weekend for Bill Elliott. This whole thing, you know, it started yesterday with the points race being jumbled all up. Here we have the same thing today. Phoenix is really playing a part in the national point standings.
He will pit this time.
Well, there's just so many times you can do this because that motor is just kind of self-destructing. The longer it runs, the more it's going to damage itself, and they're just going to have to try to figure out how to make it survive. You know, they want to keep running laps, but if no one falls out, there's no game, but they just got to keep plugging along. Hopefully they have some people fall out of the race and they'll get a few points back.
Bill Elliott is 18 laps behind at this point. Pitted way down there in turn 1.
Well, you know what's a shame is, you know, when you're in this type of situation, Junior guys brought your best money to buy blocks, pistons, cranks, rods, everything involved, but it just happens every now and then. No matter how well you fix something, it can break down. And all of these kind of teams buy the best in equipment. Sometimes you just have a failure.
And as Elliott said, it's not their championship to win, meaning the other contenders. He says, we're the leader. It's ours to give up. Davey Allison. Should he continue on in this fashion, running second, Rusty Wallace would go to Atlanta with the points lead.
I tell you, Neil, this car Davey Allison is hooked up. That car, see, he just moves up on Rusty anytime he wants to. I think he's very content just to ride along in second. And when it comes time near the end of the race, I think you're going to see the real horsepower there.
I think if the opportunity came, buddy, just to lead a lap, he might do it. But other than that, I'm like you. I don't think he's pulling back on the bridle, but he sure ain't got the whip out either. I think he's just riding it right there where he wants to be.
Earnhardt, Schrader. Kenny Schrader in the Kodiak car around Dale Earnhardt. That's 5th place. Schrader will be back with Rick Hendrick next year. Signed AC Delco for his Busch Grand National car. Big deal there. Earnhardt, of course, will be back with Richard Childress next year. And there's a lot of speculation there, but they may have extended that for several more seasons. He and Richard to stay together. Kulwicki, of course, will be back with his own team and with Hooters sponsorship. So those 3 cars will look much like they appear right now next season.
You know, it would have been so easy. We see Kulwicki running here. It'd be so easy if he had a fell on his face. Everybody said, well, you just can't do it unless you got racing. I don't think he ever gets the credit for what he's pulled off. By owning that team, starting it up a year or so ago, losing the sponsorship, climbing back up again, and just being contention for the championship and win the way he does. I'm telling you, he's turned a lot of heads by doing that.
Well, I know one man gives him a lot of credit, a fellow who's owned his own team, and that's Buddy.
Well, I tell you what, he was offered a multi-million-dollar contract to drive for another team, and he turned it down. He said, I want to do it on my own. And Buddy, he's doing it on his own.
A grenade in turn 1. A lot of smoke down there.
Marcus.
Dave Marcus is off the pace. The AEL Reynolds Chevrolet. Caution flag. 5th one today at lap 183. For Dave Marcus. Quick caution as Marcus was right down in the groove going into turn 1 when that let go.
God, you hate to see that for Dave. He pays for his own stuff. You know, he has a little bit of sponsorship, but when you see smoke coming out of that car, it comes out of Dave's pocket.
Here's Rusty and Davey racing back around to the line. You know, normally when you see the caution, I was going to say it's a gentleman's agreement to, not to race back, but I'm sure Davey, if he had the opportunity to try to lead a lap right then. Rusty raced him all the way back around.
Now you talk about the 4 guys helping out one another. Kyle Petty is still a long shot, but he's still in this championship. So as his fellow Pontiac driver, it's important for Wallace to keep Davey back there in that 2nd spot, much as Sterling Marlin kept Alan Kulwicki back a little bit before.
You know, we keep talking about spotters, but every one of these cars has got a guy from a very vantage point where he can see all the way around the racetrack. And they knew that this wasn't a problem, so they called the guys and said, race back to the line. Don't worry about it. Track is clean.
Wallace, Allison, Mark Martin, Ernie Irvin, Kenny Schrader. The front 5. We'll open up our 800 line for your questions about the Pyroil 500 of this season. That toll-free number, 1-800-451-7331. Thanks to all of you who voted. And again, we remind you to vote on Tuesday, Election Day. But now we'll take your questions for the rest of today's telecast.
Here's a big critical pit stop right here. If Davey Allison's crew can beat Rusty's crew out, it's easier to do it on pit road than it is on the racetrack. We're going to see some action right here in pit road to see if the Allison crew can outdo the crew of Rusty Wallace to get him out first.
19 cars still on the lead lap. Those are the ones that are pitting in this first lap of caution. That pit road is open.
I started to say they might go 2, but they're going to go 4, buddy.
Yeah, they got to go 4. I mean, this is time to get all you can get. You see, the Rusty's taking it on, too. He has to have 4.
Nice shot. Who will beat who out of pit road?
Now, Rusty has a little bit of advantage. You see, he's got the last pit all the way down, so they have exact pit stops, and he'll beat him out every time.
And Davey and Earnhardt scoots out there. Earnhardt's the guy who got the good break. He has the very last pit as defending championship, just has to throw that car in gear, and he's got his spot.
They have 2 more pit stops. Earnhardt will be in the lead. He's faster every time.
That's it. On those good positions, that's a 19.06 from Rusty Wallace. That's a good stop.
That's good. 185 laps. We're under caution for the 5th time today. How about Ricky Rudd's thoughts going to 1993?
This has kind of been I hate to call it a throwaway year, but it's been sort of a regrouping year. And the performance of the car is come on quite a bit. The only thing that's hurt us in the points this year, we've got 3 or 4 races where we didn't finish at all, whether it be an accident or something broke. Those are the kind of 35th place finishes, 40th place finishes that really hurt our shot at the points. So there's not a whole lot you can do about it. The season's about over with, so all you do is hopefully look at next year. And next year should not be a lot of major changes with our team through the winter, so we're expecting to be able to sort of pick up where we're leaving off at.
After a season of hard driving action,
Man, I sure could use a vacation.
join Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvan, Kenny Wallace, and other NASCAR personalities for the ultimate race fan vacation. Enter the 1992 Miller Genuine Draft Racing Cruise Sweepstakes and win a week-long all-expense-paid cruise for 2 to the Caribbean, where you'll sail in luxury aboard the SS Norway of Norwegian Cruise Lines. You'll fly round trip to Miami, your port of departure to the exotic world of St. John, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. Or win a Miller Genuine Draft Racing jacket, T&N cooler and cap. Or win an Inside Winston Cup Racing t-shirt and cap. No purchase necessary. To enter, send your name, address, and phone number on a postcard to Miller Genuine Draft Racing Cruise Sweepstakes, Post Office Box 10371, Stamford, Connecticut 06904. You must be 21 or older to win. Entries must be received by November 17th. Winners announced November 28th on Inside Winston Cup Racing.
If you've ever had trouble starting your car, join us this week on Shade Tree Mechanic.
We'll show you how to find and repair starting and charging system problems at home to save money, so please join us.
Shade Tree Mechanic, noon and 9 p.m. Eastern today on TNN.
And it's Billy Ray Cyrus, country music star and host of the new home video, NFL Country.
Country music in the NFL. Man, that's a great combination.
Hey, Billy, tell them about the Super Bowl sweepstakes.
Well, the grand prize is a VIP trip for 2 to the 1993 Super Bowl, hosted by me.
First prize includes Billy Ray's CDs and the new NFL Country home video. To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, and telephone number to Billy Ray Cyrus Super Bowl Sweepstakes. P.O. Box 10346, Stamford, Connecticut 06904.
And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today.
And send in your postcards.
This TNN sweepstakes brought to you by Castrol GTX.
Green flag has just come out after this restart following the 5th caution flag of the day for Dave Marcus losing an engine. Kyle Petty 2 laps down trying to get one back. Ricky Rudd has climbed back on the lead lap, but for how long? Rusty just streams past him into turn 3.
Pretty darn impressive. I thought Rudd would have a little bit. Rusty maybe hold him off lap 2. Rusty sailed right by him.
Rusty Wallace is having not only great success on the racetrack, but also he's having tremendous pit stops this afternoon. Let's go down to the Rusty Wallace pit in Glen Jarrett.
Well, guys, we've been talking about those great pit stops. There's a reason for it other than the fact that they're just a good pit crew. Number one, they have chosen this pit space where there's a break in the pit wall. If you'll look right here, the air gun is coiled and ready to go here. The guy just really picks the gun up, runs right out on the racetrack behind the car on the pit road when the car comes in. He doesn't have to wait till the car clears him to clear pit wall and go in behind the car. So their pit stops have been continually about a second to a second and a half quicker than anybody else's. There a lot of strategy went into this. They realized what that was. They got a good setup. They haven't been beaten out of the pits on a 4-tire stop yet. And with this advantage, I don't think they're going to.
Watching for Mark Martin's car. Gets way close on Davey Allison for 3rd place there.
Mike, this is a little tricky situation here. When you got a guy in the points battle, even though you can race him, boy, you got to give him a little bit more room. He can't afford to bump Davey or cause an accident, and that's got to be in those drivers' mind because you'll never hear the end of it. You bump with these point leaders, and say, man, he knocked him out of the points back. So it weighs on your mind.
Mark Martin in that top 6. Not too many happy fans in Georgia right now with Bill Elliott having trouble, but there's one. Richard Rowland, 39 years old, from Hartwell, Georgia, 100 miles north of Atlanta. He's been watching this race on TNN. Got a brother who races on dirt tracks in Alabama, Georgia. And he got to the phone, and he knew Rusty Wallace led that lap. Congratulations, Richard. Hope you enjoy your new Chevrolet. You can enter next week's contest for the Atlanta Hooters 500. And perhaps win the Gillette Halfway Challenge at that event. Mark Martin and Davey Allison. Now, Martin isn't all that far back. He came into this 178 points out of first, but he only trails Davey Allison by 108 points. So he is not out of the chase for the Cup mathematically.
Not only that, he's winning races right now, so he's definitely not out of it.
Got a long way to go in this race, and anything could happen to any of these drivers yet. Boy, I tell you, we've seen so many things unfold now, there's no telling what might happen. See Davey keying that bike. He's talking to him in the pits. It's right there on the, you see his hand going to the right. When he straightens up on that spoke on the steering wheel, there's a button. And he'll press it with his thumb if he talks to him down the straightaway. He was talking to him in the pits. He's probably getting lap times from him.
And if the race ended right now, 34 points would separate Davey Allison from Bill Elliott, 7 points more back to Alan Kulwicki. Then here again.